Don't look under the internet.
Yeah, chess boxing. Yeah.
I just got a notification on my phone that a new creature collection video came out.
There's a new one.
Hey, look at that.
Yep.
We can't even keep up.
We can't.
Which is why we have this episode coming out. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
there's not enough there.
welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet.
Welcome
Welcome
to Don't Look Under the Internet.
An
to
episode
this podcast,
of a podcast.
whatever it's called.
Welcome to Really Tall Podcast presents. Well, fuck. What's the
Don't
other
look
one?
under the internet.
No, we had another one.
Oh,
RTP network. The Really Tall Podcast
Really?
Network.
That's what we should have done.
We're going to go into housekeeping real quick. That's Doug. That's Jason. I'm Mike.
hi.
There it is. Yeah.
Hi.
That's Mike. He's the lead singer of Smash
Doug,
Mouth.
Jason, Mike. No Matt this week. Go.
Yeah, no Matt
Quick,
this week. He's
quick, make a
busy boy.
Smash Mouth joke.
No nonsense,
I'm
Mike.
sad. Uh-oh.
That was funny.
I got logged
The
out of
years
Patreon.
don't stop coming, and they do
You got-
stop coming, though.
That might explain why I haven't gotten updates. Quick, can one of you open up Patreon and see if we got updated
Yeah, we got you.
people?
Man, this is a fucking... Do we just want to start over?
No, this is great.
I got a phone call. We were not prepared.
There we
Hold
go.
on. I got you.
I got it. I'm already open.
You got it?
Yep.
We dip below 100. Everyone sucks.
We kept that all in.
God.
We're keeping that all in. Anyway, so Diluti, housekeeping.
Clap above your head.
Welcome to
Sorry,
housekeeping,
was
where
late.
we have one new patron I want to shout out, and let's see how we like the name. It is
Ready, Doug?
Bad.
Benevolent Overseer Joe.
Actually, that's not terrible.
That's not
That's
bad.
not terrible.
It's
I
not
batted
bad.
it before I knew.
I have questions. I want, like, that you can't just put that on a resume, right?
Benevolent Overseer
Definitely can't put
Joe.
that on a resume.
Benevolent.
Benevolent. Damn it, you got me doing it.
Thank you,
Benevolent.
benevolent Overseer Joe. Thank you. If you want to be a patron, you can go to
Wait,
patreon.com.
Wait.
Slash
What did they
Diluti.
pay?
Uh,
What tier are they?
I don't know. I didn't check that. It doesn't matter to me.
$2?
Doug.
Their name sucks a little bit more now.
God damn it, Doug.
If you want to be
God damn it.
a patron just like benevolent Overseer Joe here, you can go to patreon.com/DilutiPod, or you can check out our website, diluti.com, where you can also become a member there. You get the same type of advantages as being on Patreon. It's just on our actual website, which the UI works a bit better. You also get a 10% discount on merch if you are on a membership on the website. But
Yeah, we're going to be
everything
putting
else,
up dope merch stuff. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
but
we're going to be
everything
trying to
else-
do way more stuff.
yeah, everything else bonus-wise and all that jazz, you still get from Patreon over on the website. Nothing else changes. Quality content all around. Emphasis on quality, because it's always quality there.
We always put stuff out for sure.
Yep. But I also want to say this. I almost have him, boys. I need
what?
all of our
Zach
members
Baggins?
here. No, the other one. I need
Oh.
all of our members on here
I forgot who the other
to tweet at Nightmind and be
Night
like,
Minds.
right.
Night Mind.
follow Diluti Pod, because I have had like 3 conversations with this man on Twitter now, and I need him to fucking follow us. We are everyone that is like, there is such a big branch of people that are like, if I go to his followers tab or whatever, it's like follows you. Nightmind, just follow us already. I love you, please.
All right,
Like,
real
don't
quick,
ask
for those of you who
much.
listen to
Please.
the
Send him
Jack
this clip of me
Torrance,
crying, please. I need you, please. Nightmind, baby.
yeah,
please.
clip this. But also, real quick, before I say this, in our Jack Torrance episode, where we really talk about Nightmind a lot,
We
did,
do
did
talk
we shit
about
on him? Did
Uh,
we shit on him or no?
I don't think
Because
that-
if not, then you tweet that man or whatever, and you
I mean, I'm
paste that video
So, okay.
in your tweet.
No, we
Doug?
didn't shit on him. I think we said how he wanted to do the
You
ARG,
think, right?
but then he couldn't like keep up with it anymore. So he was like, I'm getting rid of it. It's done. I'm putting it to bed. Like,
I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure that's all he said.
I'm pretty sure we shat on him. Just saying.
I don't remember.
But I will say this, and I think we should start doing this at the beginning of every episode, because as we drink more alcohol that our wonderful patrons have bought us, we
Yes.
do tend to get bit more liberal with the insults. And I know that we aren't serious about it. Like we literally use humor and insults as just a mechanism. We like Nightmind. We do in fact very much enjoy your stuff. We enjoy your videos.
I watch Nightmind almost
We use your
every day.
videos all the fucking time. Any criticisms coming from like an episode where we were talking about something you've done is literally purely artistic. We
Jason
are
is
just
doing
commenting.
great just quality control right now.
Just because we criticize doesn't mean we don't enjoy it. You criticize the things you love, right?
Yeah, no, we do it from a place of wanting quality, like
Yeah.
over
And I'm a
quantity.
shitty piece of
and-
shit on the internet. So
Yeah, we literally have
there's
done nothing but sit here and talk about things that we think that we know about.
Mhm.
We
that
don't.
we don't know about.
We're just
Remember-
giving hard
So-
opinions.
remember how we tried to make an ARG and all we did was make a couple of my friends worried that I actually went missing? So I think they have a
Yeah,
little
honestly-
leg up on us.
kind of a banger.
Honestly, smash.
Kind of a banger.
But yeah, I'm just saying, please don't harass Nightmind actually, because that might
No,
make him-
no.
Holy
that,
fuck
that
no.
might
But if
make
you're
him
gonna
not
tweet
want
him,
to. Mention
Do
us
it in a
it.
manner that makes
Tag
us
us
look
in
like
it.
we
Yeah.
aren't a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, be like, oh, Doolittle Pod's really cool at Nightmind. You might enjoy these fellas. Do that for me, because again, like our followers who also follow you, it's such a big list now, and it's like, why can't why can't he just do
Well,
it?
plus-
I want him.
So he's got the ARG index, and I like that.
Yes.
That's such a good idea.
I looked through
Yeah.
that a lot actually.
Anyway, yeah, 100%.
I just wanted to say
Also-
that.
I would love to collab with that man.
Who wouldn't?
You know,
He's got such a sexy voice.
We're fine with whatever he does, and it doesn't matter.
That's
no,
true.
because we are us. You are you. I am me. Richard Nixon is Richard Nixon.
oh man, you took my Segway or my
I'll give
bird
it back.
scooter.
Your bird scooter, bro. We're not sponsored by Segway.
Is this episode 1? What the fuck? What are we doing? What are we talking about, Mike?
We're
the
talking
worst
about,
intro we've ever done, bro?
100%
We're
right
talking about.
We don't have Matt to say it. so.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair.
So a while ago, we talked about our greatest president ever, James Dean, and how he did everything he could for this country.
He cured deafness.
But then the world kind of like blew up.
yeah.
But in doing so, we gained another president elect.
Well, you know
who-
how they say. You know how they say every decision comes with, like, if you were to make a decision, you make one decision here, but then an alternate you makes another one.
Yes,
Thank you for answering me. I appreciate that.
you're welcome.
That's kind of what's reminding me here, because we've had a President Nixon, right? But do you remember actually having a President James Dean?
No,
I mean, I've played Watergate, but I haven't played.
It's such a good game.
we're covering the
played the James Dean
NIXONVERSE. We're covering.
We
the
are covering
NIXONVERSE.
NIXONVERSE.
Where's Agnew?
Guys,
The headless body of Agnew. Charleston.
Futurama jokes are going to be plentiful here. I promise.
Yeah, so Alex Canassis, Mr. Manicore himself, is like, hey,
Kasanas.
whatever. Here he's
I don't
like,
know. Actually,
We spent
about
one
that.
episode doing it right, and now we're doing 2 episodes. Where
Here's the
it's-
funny thing.
Nope.
we were like, hey, we did our first episode, really super fun. Let's do season
It
3.
is Kasanas. It is Kasanas. Thank you,
Cool.
Jason.
We were
Thank you.
like, hey, let's cover season 3. That'd be fun. Oh, we didn't cover all of season 2? Okay, that's fine. Then we go to cover season 3, and we're like, oh, hey, look, the NIXONVERSE. And now we're looking at the NIXONVERSE, and now Mr. Manicore himself is like, hey, I'm uploading a lot more shit. So get ready to cover even more content for me in the future. Because now he's got like a weird boat thing, and he's got modern day Monument Mythos stuff going on. So it's a whole thing. Get
yeah, be on
ready.
the lookout for those because I watched the first episode of season 4, I
yeah.
guess technically
Mhm.
today, and
So we'll be
Ooh,
covering
wee.
that at some point.
Alex is doing some fucking work.
Would it work?
he really juked everyone. He was
Yeah.
like, "I'm
Yeah.
done, y'all."
Yeah. He goes, yep, peace. Hope you guys liked it.
And
Here's
now here
a
we have
fuckload
Monument Mythos
more.
4. We have NIXONVERSE 2. There's
Mhm.
lots of stuff happening,
Mm-hmm.
and we are blessed to be able to cover it, hopefully, in a more timely manner than we did before.
So
Well,
let's Speaking of, let's get into said NIXONVERSE, which I am thoroughly excited for.
Schnixiverse.
So,
What are we drinking tonight, Mike?
let me show you.
He's like, God damn it.
Is it Screwball?
No, it's Evan Williams. Oh wait.
Oh,
the white label.
It looked round for
Also
a second.
Come on.
That's on me.
Woo! Hey,
You should have poured it on top of it and then like
That'd be
tricked us
funnier.
all.
hey, Mike, you want to feel super weird right now?
Sure.
What are we drinking? What are we thinking? There's a bottle here and it's empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evan
Oh.
Williams, the white
I don't know how I
label.
felt
I
about
didn't
that.
like that. I felt super awkward and uncomfortable.
You're like, why am I doing this?
Why am I clapping?
It's not natural unless I'm doing it. Then there's something wrong with the world. Well, this is
Seriously.
an alternate universe, so it makes sense that you're doing it. This was your bit.
You know what?
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just had a good idea for this episode that we can't do anymore.
Mhm.
Oh well.
What an intro where I'm Jason, that's Doug, and that's Jason or Mike.
Well, we
We
just
do that bit a lot though.
That's
We
true.
just do no, like we create. Never mind. We can talk off air. We don't have to tell everyone all of our secrets.
Yeah, get fucked, audio listeners and visual listeners.
Get fucked,
We
paying
can't, we
patrons.
can't edit this at all, for sure.
Post production doesn't exist in this universe.
When you hear the
But
clink,
anyway.
drink.
Yes.
Oh, I don't have a clink anymore. I've got a tink. There you go.
Smack your teeth.
Ouch. Anyway, so where do we start but the beginning? Am I right, boys?
100%.
So when you go on to Mr. Manicore, you actually have a playlist for the NIXONVERSE, which is nice. Starts off with a teaser trailer. I did not cover the teaser trailer. Did one of you boys watch it?
Yeah, I can. You
You want to
over it?
discuss it real
I
quick?
mean,
There's not much
It'll
to
take
it. It's a
4.5
teaser.
seconds.
Yeah.
It's a teaser. It's just like, we're
Yeah.
NIXONVERSE.
Yeah, 100%. It's literally 31 seconds, and it just shows a graphic of this man like outstretched. He's in the Jesus pose.
You'll see it soon enough.
You'll see it, yeah, exactly. But like as it zooms in, it shows that it's somebody in a suit, and then it just says giant white letters, "The NIXONVERSE."
I will say,
the world of
that's
it.
tomorrow.
just before we get into anything too pertinent and crucial and,
Sexy.
we're not technically deep diving this one as hard as we did the Monument Mythos.
Especially because
Um,
we learned there's another NIXONVERSE coming.
Correct. So we're going to kind of just tell you guys about it. We're going to give our own little spiels on what we think things might mean. But we're not going to like fully just like throw like the rug under the bus on this one.
Especially because
Whatever.
this-
I'm just putting some different,
Dude, no, I'm
emphasis
I'm
on
fucking
it.
stealing that. I'm
Throw
throwing
the
the
rug
rug under the bus.
Okay. You get what I'm saying. We're just going to talk about it tonight. I don't want anyone thinking we're deep diving this. That's all I'm trying to get at, all right?
No, we're throwing the rug
I have
under
not
the
had
bus.
5 shots already. I am
Okay.
I am fine.
You're
No
right.
one has to worry about anything, all right?
You're not wrong. We have not had 5 shots.
not
but
Wrong.
I'm not.
And we're gonna
There you go.
wait a minute now because I just okay. Anyways,
so the
Mike,
one of the big reasons you in my opinion you can't even like deep dive this is because this kind of takes a similar route that like the Monument Mythos season 1 did, where it shows you a bunch of weird cool stuff, but it's all pretty vague. And then
that's what I was.
season
I
2
literally
is
was
where it's going to be
just
like,
talking about that.
wow, I'm throwing
Yep.
you under the rug bus. That's where it's gonna become
Throwing the
fun.
rug under the bus.
under the bus.
Dude, I love that. I like. I'm gonna use it
I've
at work.
combined the 2 best metaphors I
Pulling the
could.
rug out from under and throwing you under the bus.
Yeah.
I love that.
But
I'm gonna use that every fucking
Crazy.
day.
I guess I can start it off, right, boys?
I would love if you did.
So we start
Your
off.
voice is just so sexy.
Oh, pish posh.
Damn.
So we start off with the video called "The Last Son of Alcatraz," which sounds super cool. I love that. It starts off like an old timey Superman radio show where it's like, introducing a new type of radio broadcast. Superman, a man who's got an awesome personality. Look out, he's faster than a speeding bullet in a locomotive. Yada yada yada. Where we're getting all this, we get this imagery of what looks like a serpent, similar to what we saw in Monument Mythos season 3. It looks similar to the serpent that comes out of Mars. For those of you that want a very, very quick recap on that, there be worms living in planets, and we
Yep.
basically blew up Mars, and now there was a snake that
There
came
was
out of it.
3. Now there's 2.
Mike-
Now
Yes.
there's probably only 1.
He who controls the spice.
Yeah.
Controls
But
the universe.
Here's the interesting thing. With this imagery, it zooms in on what looks like, it kind of looks like a rift or like an offshoot from the serpent. It's kind of like, how a solar flare, it'll be like the sun, and
Yeah.
you'll see like the tendril kind of spewing off from it.
Right.
It looks like
Yep.
that as it's talking about this super being. So I think this weird rift thing is what starts the NIXONVERSE. I think that's kind of like the Big Bang, in an essence.
Right.
2.0.
So just a small recap. At the end of season 2 of Monument Mythos, we get what is essentially a universal reset, right?
Yep.
World blowed up.
This is kind of where the NIXONVERSE takes place. We kind of have a little bit before, and we have a little bit after. So when you hear some of the things that we're talking about, you're going to actually be able to kind of pinpoint,
Yes.
all right, this was before the reset, and this was after the reset. And we'll probably, I don't know what your guys' notes looks like, but I'm sure we'll kind of explain that as we go.
Mhm.
Mhm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because this season 2.5 or 4 or whatever you want to call the NIXONVERSE has a very like weird timeline to it.
Yeah.
So
And that's one thing you'll notice, and that's actually how you can kind of essentially prove that this is not the same timeline as the actual story. You know what I mean? Like that's like
Mhm.
you're gonna see different events that are gonna just set it a little bit apart.
And I'm actually going to talk about one of them.
Hell yeah! What do you got
So-
for us, Mike?
So right after we get this imagery of this like weird rift or whatever coming from the serpent, we cut to audio from James Dean talk about how he like is now super cautious and super careful when he's driving on the highway because he might just fucking die.
Has he never seen the movie Rebel Without a Cause?
You know what? He might want to go rent that. He pretty much tells
He should.
listeners, because this is all taking place on like a radio broadcast. He tells listeners, he says, take it easy driving because the life you might save might be mine. Then as he says that, on screen it shows 2 cars collide and into a crash. We then get this like World War II imagery, like, those old like documents where it's like, back in Omaha Beach.
What the fuck is a plorbian?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we get those kind of like images and that kind of voice. But we get this imagery of like people storm beaches and like old like warplanes and everything flying by, and you see this mysterious figure inside of the images as well. You get this voice that mentions how this person, it came from another world, and when he was born, he was much taller than any of us. It also mentions that even as a child, he was much taller. But now, in this world, he chooses to be the size of a man. But he will shift size to either help us, hurt us, or scare us. The video ends then with like the classic like Superman like, look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, and it's like, no, it's the last son of Alcatraz, and then that's it. And that's a badass name.
That's dope.
I
Yeah,
do
fuck.
like that name.
Dope as shit. The last son of Alcatraz.
All of the names in the NIXONVERSE are pretty fucking great.
They are.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I'm about to
Yeah,
go
we're
over the
gonna-
next one.
Hell yeah!
Yep.
Who's next?
The
So we got
next-
the last son of Alcatraz.
And then
We have
this
another
one,
another cast member we're adding.
we have another cast member.
Fuck yeah!
Maybe, who knows? But this video is called The D-Day Night.
Oh, wow.
And night as in
Spoilers.
like like a night, like a night
With a
shining
K.
armor.
a knight.
With an
knight, yes.
unsilent K.
Yeah. We see an image of this figure, this knight, being hit by an explosion. It even tells you that he is being sent back by an explosion and his helmet was knocked off. Now the image is a little blurry, but the helmet looks like it's got like 2 like big old horns on it.
Yeah,
but
it's like
You can't really see too much
huge
of
horns.
it. Yeah. We cut to this like it looks like a show or something from like way back in the day. It's called Free Will on D-Day, and it's by Alice Avenue for the World Nightly.
I didn't know Free Willy did a D-Day version.
Also, holy
Boo.
shit.
Ooh.
Thank you.
I hate you. Sorry, my brain was thinking. I just registered what you fucking said. Do you guys go to the wiki at all?
No, I didn't.
I didn't actually. No, not for this one.
Okay.
Go and elaborate if you want.
Guys, well, no, I'd rather the people listening to this go check out the wiki and see if you can make a connection there to what Mike just said. What was the name that you just said, Mike?
It was Alice Avenue for the World Nightly.
Yeah.
Oh,
hit up the wiki.
I'll probably spoil that later.
Hit up
Oh,
the
there you
wiki. See if you can make a connection.
But basically, this like little show is saying how all the men on Omaha Beach had no free will. It mentions how they had a 1 in 4 chance of survival. And then it mentions something a little weird. It says that the atoms of these men led them all to a moment of almost certain death. But the outcome changed when the D-Day night came around and just saved everybody. So this guy's saving soldiers' lives. Kind of cool. It's quoted on saying that we do not know much about him, but we do know is he is not of this world. While everyone's atoms are following a defined course in our universe, the Knight's is not. The Knight is then stated to be the only one on this planet with free will.
Holy shit! Yeah, I was about to ask if what you're saying is that the D-Day Knight is the only person who can make choices for themselves that matter. That means he's the only one that can actually defy fate, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Which also says that fate is a thing and everybody is subject to it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of supposition.
So it also goes on to talk about how the Knight helped save the world and help America and help turn the tide of the war. And it ends on an image of the helmet that was blown off from before. And you get to see a bit more detail now. The helmet looks like it's like a human skull, but like the
So many
jaw,
teeth.
the jaw's like split.
It's Predator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it kind
kinda.
of looks predator-ish, but it's like a
Yeah.
human skull. So it's like just like a row of teeth going down, and going up it is these. It looks predator. It's predator. You're like, yeah, it's like the
Dude,
predator.
It looks like
forehead.
he's got swords for
And then
ears.
yeah,
Like,
and then it goes to like those horns that I was talking about earlier. They start off looking kind of like wings,
yeah,
and then they turn into like these long like bull horns.
yeah.
And this thing
it's
is
like a horn
fucking
or a saber or
huge.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, and this helmet's huge.
massive.
And that's the end of the video. But we've had these weird talks of so far Supermen and atoms has been brought up a lot, and free will. So very strange so far.
We're hitting some tropes, I think.
Yeah. This last
I'm
video.
trying so hard not to just talk over things that I know, because I'm like,
Mhm.
"Fuck."
Doug is sitting here vibrating because he's like, I know what this is. I know what this is.
my last video
You wanna
here,
Pour us up again.
and this is my favorite one, is called "The Queen of the Lunarians."
Hell yeah. Yep,
Lemurians?
yep.
Lunarians.
Lumerian.
Lunarians.
You see now, Lemuria.
Lemuria. So we start off
Wait.
with this like
How about a drawing, Mel? Can you get us a drawing?
I forgot that we still had that.
I didn't know that you know that that's what that button was.
Very
Honestly,
nice.
shot in the dark.
Fate. It's
Perfect.
fate. It's fate.
It's fate. No free will, Doug. You don't
nope.
have it.
So we
That
start
sounds
off
right,
with
though.
this like homemade footage of someone holding up these images of the moon landing, and over the imagery it says, "Grandma tried to burn these." The images show the moon landing, but it's a little different. There is a like glowing figure in these images, and this might look a little familiar to you because back in the previous season of Monument Mythos, we had
Yup.
our glowing figure, one of the Cothonauts, who
It's the driving force of most of the story.
yeah, who appeared to people as this bright glowing figure.
In like
So-
a spacesuit thing.
Yeah.
That was Angel.
Huh?
It was Angel.
Angel was on
Yo,
the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you saw the Chthonot, but he like appeared in like this
the Angel was the glowing one though.
Mhm.
the super glowy, not with no helmet, no like
Right.
mechanized
Just-
suit or anything.
Just
yeah, yeah.
white.
Yeah. That's
light.
what I was talking about. The angel, my B.
The angel. Okay. Yeah,
But-
yeah.
So we get quotes from people who are like talking about this being. We get quotes from people like Pat Cleveland, who in this world is an astronaut, Beverly Ann Johnson, who is also an astronaut, and Ed Dwight, who is said to be the first man on the moon in this universe. Now, I'll touch on these names.
I like that name so much.
Ed Dwight, yeah. I'll
It's
touch
a good
on
name.
I'll touch on
It's a
these
good
names
Republican
in
name.
Ed Dwight
Riddled with phlebitis.
for your local Congress. I'll touch on
Bonitis.
Bonitis.
I'll
Go ahead.
touch
Sorry,
on
Mike.
those. I'll touch on those names in just a minute here, but it goes on to these people talking about how this being is some like beautiful thing and how she is now here with us and she will speak first. We then get an audio recording from the Queen of Lunarians. It is a conversation between the Queen, a man named Ed, who is Ed Dwight, a man named Mike, and a man named John. We don't figure out who Mike and John is yet. Ed, I'm only assuming is Ed Dwight just because it's the only other Ed we've seen here.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that in a minute. But she goes on to talk, and she just kind of sounds like a lady. But she goes on to mention how a great division is coming, where a lot of people will die.
Wow.
We've heard the Great Division before.
It's terrible.
Matt's not here. I have to
Terrible,
try.
bro.
I gotta try.
At least you did. That's all that's important.
I tried. That was so much better. Doug, you're in charge.
You're welcome.
So she goes on to mention how there's a lot of people out there who don't know how to be kind or how to love. But she says those that do, though, will have the chance to learn to fly and become beautiful and become gods. Then you hear this Mike fellow go, my God in heaven, there's air here. And then John basically just goes, shoot her. And then Ed just fucking
Yep.
baka, 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 baka,
Yep.
shoots the shit out of her.
Can I just say, I love the progression of there's air here.
Yeah.
Kill it.
Kill it.
Like, that went
This
to
whole
fucking
thing,
0 to
it's just
60
some-
so fast.
It's just some beautiful, like she's just
a lunar
talking.
landscape.
There's just some beautiful, like I don't really speech from this benevolent creature. And they're just like, oh, I can breathe air. Shoot the fuck out of it. Like,
Right.
0 to 100.
0 to 60. Yeah,
Um,
just no time flat.
But we then cut to a death certificate for a John Glenn, who now we can assume was the John that told Ed to shoot the Queen. Do you want to know what his cause of death was?
I love
this. What is it? What is it? What is it?
Eviction from reality.
Yes.
He
By
was by
cause of
Lunarian
what?
encounter.
Yeah.
And I think it said the
Fucking
time
dope.
it took was like 63 seconds or something
63
like that.
seconds.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to wait a minute to
A
just
minute?
not be real anymore?
Or have the process start, and a minute and 3 seconds later is when you disappear.
You now no longer ever existed.
I don't want to know what happens in that interim.
He was evicted. You know, he should have just called
Evicted.
squatters' rights. Like, he would have
Well,
been
you can't be
Ohio.
evicted from reality if you call
If this
squatters
happened in
rights.
Ohio, it would have taken like a couple months.
If
Yeah,
you were in
exactly.
California, it would have taken at least a year.
Yeah. He would have been fine if he would have just said, squatters' rights. She would have been like,
See, we're solving
Damn it.
problems.
Yeah.
If you had just fucking gone to California and done this, you would have had no issues.
mm-hmm.
But here we
Oh,
are.
You had to go to the fucking moon.
You go to the
Fucking
moon.
So, like I mentioned before, all those names I said before about the astronauts.
Yep.
I want to mention those names because they have completely different meanings in our world.
They do.
So, first and foremost, remember what I said before when everyone was commenting about this thing. You had Pat Cleveland, Beverly Johnson, and Ed all being like,
Yeah.
hey, this thing is beautiful. Like, and
What are the significance of those names?
let me tell you.
Except for
Main
Ed.
reason. Yeah. Well, Ed, hang on.
Ed
Actually,
is
Ed works.
significant.
Ed works.
He is, but
Ed
just-
works in
you
a
got-
way.
You might not. You have to maybe hold off. On
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
You hold on, Ed. The other
So-
two, though, please.
So, Pat Cleveland in our world was a fashion
It's
model.
like, fuck.
Beverly Ann
oh.
Johnson in our world
Oh, I
was
know that
also
name.
a fashion model. Ed Dwight, and we can cut this out if you want, but I don't think it really spoils anything, was a sculptor / test pilot and the first African American to have entered the Air Force training program for NASA for select astronauts. But he was also famously or infamously denied being able to join NASA. But in
This
this,
is IRL.
in our world, but in the
The
NIXONVERSE,
Hourverse. There's the
in the-
Nixon. No, actually, hold on.
And
This
the
is third.
DLUTIverse.
This is the
Yeah.
third universe
But in
because
the
there's the
NIXONVERSE-
NIXONVERse. We dubbed season 2 of the NIXONVERSE. Do we want to fucking rethink that?
No. Season 2 is the
Or season 3?
Or yeah,
Deanverse.
sorry. Season 3 is the no.
That's right. No, you're
Season
right.
3 is
did
the
so we got-
multiverse.
right.
Yeah.
So far we have the Deanverse, we have the NIXONVERSE, and the Montyverse.
Right.
Those are the 3 universes we're working
And
with
if we
so far.
ever
And us,
reference
the
like
Bidenverse.
IRL, we'll call it DLUTIverse.
Yeah,
Like
and the DLUTIverse.
IRL is DLUTIverse.
Anyway,
right?
but in real life,
Yeah,
so
okay.
he was denied becoming an astronaut, but in this reality, he's the first astronaut. Interesting. Not only that, but he was also a sculptor as well. Monument
I can't-
Mythos. Monument Mythos.
I don't think that has anything to do with anything, honestly.
Well, I mean, he's sculpted like statues and stuff. Is all I'm gonna say.
No, I know, but like statues don't mean anything in this whole story.
You're absolutely right. But I did find out other information as well. John Glenn, which was the John that told the guy to shoot him, was in
Yeah.
fact in our world, the DLUTIverse, the third man in space. And I
Yeah.
also
Oh, yeah,
I could
yeah.
not find out who that Mike fellow was, but I also found out
It's you.
that
It's
yeah,
you,
it's
bud.
me. It was me all along. It was actually Mike Collins who was an astronaut in Apollo 11.
Oh shit! So all of these names that were pulled were astronauts.
Mm-hmm. No, they're either fashion models or astronauts.
Oh right, I
Mhm.
forgot. Yeah. The first 2 were fashion models.
And I found out in the YouTube comments that the speech that the Queen of Lunarians gives is actually attributed to, I'm going to butcher this name, a Daniele Luna, who was also a model.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Ooh,
interesting. We have a lot
okay.
of fashion models and a lot of astronauts working
Mr.
on this.
Manicore knows more than we do about things, I think.
Mhm.
I think he just knows weirder things than we know.
That's fair.
But that ties up all of my stuff.
Okay.
That's all your stuff. That's your last video.
Where we go from
You
here?
said the last one. The last one was the Queen of Lunarians, right?
Yes. So who talks about Jesus in Vietnam?
That would be me, dude. Oh my god, I saw this and I was like, I love that I got these videos, except for one of them, but the rest of them are great.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Alex.
Yeah, I know you are.
Alex was like, "Hey, I'm gonna treat
Alex,
you."
go fuck yourself.
He's like, "I'm gonna treat you." All of season 3, very fucking short. NIXONVERSE,
4 minutes max.
Yeah, NIXONVERSE, very short. Except
Except
I spent
Except for
39
one.
minutes on one of these.
yeah.
Which could probably get its own fucking episode, but here we are.
Seriously, but I am trimming the fat on that one because there's a lot of it.
You fucking figure it out
Yeah,
if you
pretty
haven't
much.
figured it out. All right.
We already said
But
that we're not gonna do a
anyway-
deep dive.
Oh yeah, no, we're not deep diving this at all. Actually, do we want to take a pause for a shot? Because I do.
Haven't y'all already
Yeah.
taken like 4?
I don't give a
Oh, yeah,
shit,
we're-
man. I just shit there.
We're
work.
like halfway through this bottle
yeah.
already. Like we're
not
just-
doing
we're going to
bonuses.
fucking town.
This is full fucking diluty. This is what this is.
So if Nixon wanted anything,
It's for us to
It was-
destroy our livers.
it was this.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
we are just
Glad
doing.
you're on the same page.
We
with
are
this, Mike.
doing God's work.
The gods.
I know. He needs. Don't spoil it, bro.
So after the
Wowie
queen,
zowie.
Oh, we're back.
there it is. We
We're
are
back, baby.
Weird.
So after the Queen of Lunarians, which is the last video that Mike talked about, we
All right.
go to a video named Jesus in Vietnam.
Cue that one
I didn't see
song
this
that
movie.
Every what's that song? It ain't me.
It ain't me. Yeah, I know exactly. It's the war movie
It's
music.
the only-
just
yes,
call it
war
that.
movie song.
Fortunate Son by
Leonard Skinner. I don't fucking know.
No, I think is it Creedence
Is
Clearwater
it,
Revival?
is it three non-blondes?
Who the fuck sings that?
What is it
It's gonna
called?
bug me. Either way,
What is it
Yeah.
called?
it's called Fortunate Son. I don't remember who sings it though. Just a super
It's
classic
Creedence
war
Clearwater
music.
Revival.
I fucking knew it. Anyway, so let's go to Jesus in Vietnam. So this episode it's a little bit different, and honestly, you're gonna find that a lot of the media you see in the NIXONVERSE is a bit different from the Monument Mythos. The Monument Mythos is a little bit more like directly informational through storytelling. The NIXONVERSE it uses a lot of propaganda. And
Oh,
this
yeah.
is
Yeah.
one of those instances for sure. So, Jesus in Vietnam. This is some kind of United States propaganda during the Vietnam War. We see this video starts off. We see an image of several soldiers in Vietnam One of them has their arms outstretched and is looking up towards the sky. The image then cuts to an image of a cross as it travels down the map of Vietnam from north to south with the text, "Sweep and redeem trial 1."
Sweep the leg, or
Sweep
maybe.
the leg,
Okay.
Johnny.
If I see a cross moving across a country bathed in red, and then I see the words "Sweep and redeem trial 1," I'm not comfortable. I'm just not.
kind of sounds like you're just driving through the South in America.
The Bible Belt.
Mm-hmm.
Just hanging out with the. Never mind. The video then cuts to this an image of the crucified Jesus, essentially like just hanging out above a bunch of explosions, and there's a bunch of text on the image that says "It was the only way." And then we hear audio of a man reading something from the Bible. I don't know exactly what the passage was. I didn't care enough.
I will say,
to deep dive.
if you are into religion and that sort of thing, if you watch these videos while we talk about them and you listen to some of the Bible passages that you hear in the background of
Yep.
these videos, it will actually give you a lot of
Yes.
information about what the fuck is happening.
Speaking of,
yeah.
this is one of the verses you hear in this video says, "And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature
That sounds like Jesus.
and in favor with God and man."
That do be very Jesus-like.
There's a reason I paused for that second part there for sure. So the video then cuts again right after this is said, and next to it, or essentially a silhouette of like the state or the country of Vietnam shows up, and next to it is a family, and it's like this silhouette of this white silhouettes of family that's just like jumping up and down a bunch, and there's this weird ass music, and there's this text that shows up underneath the jumping, and it says "Bethlehem greater than millions," and then it changes and it says United States, and it says instead of Vietnam, it shows America in the background. It says America greater than millions. Goes right back to the silhouette of Vietnam again, and it says the first saved state, and there's an image of the U.S. and it basically says the United States.
We're the first
Before-
SSD.
Exactly. Yes. Essentially, what this part of the video is trying to show is that the U.S. was like the first correct state. Where have we heard this fucking before?
Honestly, I'm not sure whose video it is, but I think you're coming up to it in yours, and it is a very
Are you talking about the peace equation?
well, no, I don't want to give
Okay.
anything away. I don't want to
Okay.
give anything away.
Okay. We'll see if I touch on it, and if I do, go nuts. Pull your
Yep.
bone around. It's
If
great.
I don't hear it in a while, I'll just be like, "Put the thing set." Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Perfect. So essentially, it shows the country of Vietnam, and it flashes over to the United States, and the rest of the globe just fades away, and it leaves just the U.S. and it says America everywhere. It's very propagandy. There's like this old timey music happening in the background. It's all graphics. It's all like shadow graphics. And then we get another image, and it shows like a silhouette of Jesus, and essentially we see a title that refers to something called the peace equation. And the peace equation is this: our freedom is greater than your freedom. Our Christ is greater than your Christ,
This is
which
exactly
equals.
what I was thinking.
This is what you're thinking.
I knew
Okay.
it was this one. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure though.
Yeah. Our Christ is greater than your Christ equals world peace. There's nothing
Yeah, that
good
tracks.
about that. That's a bad
Yeah.
equation. That's not a good equation. And then we hard cut to a loud sound, and it says, "Welcome to the NIXONVERSE."
No.
Cuts again, and it says, "Their peace is built on inequality with a landscape of the moon." Man, this is just a breadcrumb episode, isn't it? I think so. The text then slides below the landscape of the moon, and we hear audio of a man reading the Lord's Prayer. God, I want to talk about that more. As they read it, the camera pans over to another part of the moon, and a glowing figure fades in as the rest of the image brightens. The image is revealed to be a photograph by... Can anyone help me out here? First man on the moon?
Ed Dwight.
Ed Dwight. And it is entitled Photograph of God. Man, the breadcrumbs. It zooms in on the image, and then it cuts to an image of the, as Mike was just talking about, the last son of Alcatraz, who is now missing an eyeball, apparently. And another video, it cuts to another video that shows the last son in a room with several different men that pull it.
I don't want to cut too much off. My favorite thing is I'm pretty sure that is just an image from like in real world DLUTIverse of the actor who played Superman in the old TV
Christopher
show.
Reeves.
No, not Christopher
Yeah.
Reeves.
Well, no, not.
Oh,
not
no.
Christopher.
Oh, the TV show.
The TV show, yeah. And they
Is
just
that the one where he crushes the piece of coal and it turns into this giant fucking diamond?
maybe, I don't know. All
I used
know
to
is
watch that as a kid.
I just know that in that show, to simulate him flying into something, they had a metal bar that he would run, jump, grab, and swing into the window using to make it look like he's landing.
That's genius.
It is genius, but I'm
They
pretty sure they
actually-
just
so-
used that image and photoshopped off the
Yeah.
S on his
Alex
chest.
actually used a lot of great like video and like real world things for a lot of
Yes.
the videos he
I love
does,
it.
like through the Monument Mythos and this.
Just wait till I get to my fucking marathon episode.
Yeah, no, I know. Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
So again, I forget what I said last. We're looking at the one of the images of the last son of Alcatraz, who's missing an eye. That's right. And we see a video of the last son in a room with several other men who end up pulling a switch that locks the door behind them. And that's when we see the Welcome to the NIXONVERSE text again. And this time, though, so the first time we see it, we see a right side up America. We get the floating silhouette. This time, we see Welcome to the NIXONVERSE. There's an upside down silhouette of America in the background with no floating figure. And that's it. But that is the end of Jesus in Vietnam. After this, we get a video. Man, we're just going to follow the trope of Jesus here.
Hell yeah. It's America.
The missing eye.
Yep.
Yeah. Jesus was American, the greatest American that ever lived. The missing
Definitely.
eye of Jesus Christ is the next video. So the last one was more like a propaganda like film. This is more like a documentary. Like,
Yeah.
it's more investigating and telling real facts type deal. And explains the origins of the Jesus that conquered Vietnam.
Take that, Saigon.
What the fuck is that sentence? But yeah,
it's-
this
it's
video is
shot
about
like-
Jesus.
It's shot like mine, where it's like the guy doing the home video thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's super obscured. It's very I don't want to say poorly done because it's very well done in this context, but because this context is analog horror, it's very poorly filmed. If that makes any fucking sense.
Yeah, no, that makes
Okay, good.
absolute sense.
So this is a documentary and explains the origins of the Jesus that conquered Vietnam, and it turned it into Bethel-Nam, which is I read it as Bethlehem the whole time. I'm like, is this just a retelling of the fucking Bible? But no, the Bethel-Nam. It turns into Bethel-Nam for the under the Principality of the United States. After this, we see a title that says "The Last Son Captured." This is sorry. This is the next episode. I'm thinking of the 5-parter. Never mind. This is a very short video. The next one is or the next part of this video is titled "The Last Son Captured." The episode opens up on a bunch of text that essentially explains that after interfering in the Korean War, the last son of Alcatraz essentially returned to his fortress, his ice fortress in the Arctic. No, I'm sorry, that's Superman, right? Is the ice
of
fortress?
Solitude?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
Fortress of Solitude.
Superman.
This is in Alaska. This is the Dark Fortress in Alaska.
Yes, you in the back. Oh, he's doing a thing for social.
I was doing a thing.
Wait, did you get?
I
this
did.
man
I
in it?
did get the man in there.
Perfect. So we see the last son of Alcatraz return to his fortress in Alaska. There's a bunch of red text that shows up, and essentially it says that nuclear missiles followed him home, and there's a bunch of explosions shown all over the Alaskan landscape. And it's followed by the text that says the last son was captured.
Yeah,
We then cut
fucking
to
blew
a-
him up.
just like the fucking angel. Video then cuts to a home video that's very similar to what was shown in Mike's video, the Queen of the Lunarians. We can see somebody that's holding up a burnt image or like a crinkled at like an old
Mhm.
fucking image. There
A
might be
shri-
some
a
burn
shrinky
marks.
dink?
Yeah,
Old photo.
and it's got text. It's some kind of like spiral. I could not tell what it was, but it has been clarified for me that this is some kind of eye or like some eyeball or something like that.
yes.
A grandma vagina.
And it says Grandma found his missing eye in Alaska. If she kept it, we will find it. And this is playing off of, again, going back to Mike's videos, where we see some more of Grandma's belongings. And there's super fucked up photos of the moon landing by Ed Dwight and his crew showing, was it the Queen or was it?
yes.
Okay, it was the Queen of Lunarians.
Yeah.
The one that was
I
shot.
gotta get that. There's another. Never mind. We'll get to that later.
I will say, just because we're not confused, but like there are some confusing shots that you will see throughout this whole
Yes.
thing where you're like, what is that?
They do
Yep.
that on
Yep,
purpose.
yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
So we see that. So after we see that Grandma found his eye, and if she finds it, or if she kept it, we will find it. The camera then zooms into the photograph of essentially the lunar landscape, the eyeball that was found on the lunar landscape. As it zooms into it, we hear a voice that starts speaking about eyes, and it says this: "What are eyes anyway? How do we see? Our eyes are little round balls, about 1 inch in diameter. In front of the eye are the curtains of skin we call eyelids.
I don't like these descriptions.
If we can take away these coverings which help protect our eyes, we can see something like this." Yeah, that's a bad thought string. I'm not comfortable with it.
I'm not sure I even like the word thought string.
Yeah, I don't like that one either. We're just going downhill by the fucking second.
Throw that rug under the bus.
Fucking perfect. So after this happens, we get a giant title screen that just says Apollo 12.
Oh,
Is
Mike Collins on that?
cuts. What?
is Mike Collins on that one too?
I hope so. He needs to be. We cut to an image of a face that is missing an eyeball, and it zooms out and it reveals that it's the exact same image that we saw in the Last Son of Alcatraz, seen in Jesus in Vietnam. Which, I mean, if you could go back and watch this, guys, you guys will definitely. I'm not going to sit here and try to describe what all of these different characters look like. They're all very distinct. If you're following along at home, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So it cuts again, and we get some text that reads, Apollo 11 revealed the magical properties of Lunarian anatomy.
Ooh.
And then right after this, some more text shows up. It says Apollo 12 retrieved samples.
So
And then we see...
we shot the lady, and I'm assuming that's what they meant by.
So right after this, we
Samples.
get the report of the Apollo 12 mission, and that kind of states that they shot a Lunarian and recovered the eye. Absolutely. Then we get a graphic that depicts what we kind of now know as a Lunarian eye is to look like. I'm gonna go ahead and say this: when you first see this, you're not gonna know that that's what this is. This is
Right.
Like we said before, this is not a super deep dive. This is not going to be super confusing. We're just going to put all of this together for you because there's a lot of fucking moving parts. So we get the graphic of the Lunarian eye. And it looks very similar. So if you guys have been watching this and you guys have seen the Queen of Lunaria, you know that she holds what?
It's a staff.
It's a staff. 100% a staff. And this Lunarian eye looks almost fucking identical to the end of her staff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is very important. Hold on to that information. That's going to come up later. And so we see the tip of her staff, and it falls down to the center of the screen with a bunch of text that says, "For implantation." The eye is then seen going into a man's silhouette, as well as the text that pops up that says begins transformation, and the man gets larger, covering the entire screen. And then a cross appears. Sliding upward into the center of the frame, the text appears below the cross, reading, and brainwashes the last son into a bastardized impersonator of the Lord. And the last thing we see in this video is an image, and it's rotating and zooming out to reveal the exact same photo of the eye that was seen in the home video. However, the ring in the center starts expanding before the video cuts, and there's a bright white text that says, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." And then a bunch of red text reveals that this is actually a Bible verse from Matthew 6:22, I believe. And a bunch of new text pops up, and it says, "Eye for an eye makes the whole world mine." And then there's an attribution to that quote. Turns out it's just attributed to the entirety of the United States.
I will say, without giving anything away, definitely, if you're watching these videos, try and figure out ahead of time
Who's
who that eye is going into.
Yep.
Because it will make a lot more sense moving forward.
Yep.
Well, I
We
think
know
we
who
can
it
kind
is.
of infer.
We can't right now.
We can't right now.
Unfortunately, we can't. We can. The
I
three
can.
of us can.
I will in my parts.
and
but,
Doug will.
Well, no,
I promise.
we can infer a little only because Jason, you mentioned it
actually,
earlier.
No, that's true.
you
Let's hear
said
it.
you said
Hell yeah.
we saw
We saw the eye being implanted.
no, you said
did.
you mentioned before when I mentioned that they were just taking the old
Oh my
Superman
God, no,
art.
you're
you
right.
said that he was missing an eye.
Yeah.
So-
He's missing the eye, and they mentioned actually, yeah. If you have been paying attention, you can probably put this together.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're blinded by the details, like honestly, like I was,
Oh, it's a
won't.
lot to take in right
it's
away.
so much. Yeah. If you,
After one viewing.
that's all I'm gonna say. That is all I will say about that. Because if you didn't put it together, the reveal several episodes from now will be way better. So we're gonna leave that right there. But that's the end of fuck, what was the name of the video? The Missing Eye of Jesus Christ. Sorry. I thought it was the Jesus in Vietnam. No, Missing Eye of Jesus Christ. After this, oh boy, we go to a video by the title of The House in the Ocean.
Which is very reminiscent to season 1 of Monument Mythos. I enjoyed this.
And honestly, it's longer than every video in the entirety of the Monument Mythos combined. If I'm being 100% honest.
Close to it.
This clocks in at about almost 40 minutes. It's 39 minutes and like 10 seconds or some shit. And it's called The House in the Ocean. And so when this first started up, it's very abstract and it shows a bunch of imagery, and eventually it settles on this video of like a golden flag flying in the wind. And we get some text that says, "I only remember the golden flag." After this plays for a solid 15 to 20 seconds, which is way too long, in my opinion, we get a video of Obama on a beach somewhere.
Obama.
He's talking to somebody. I can't remember who he's talking to. But he's like, there's a bunch of wood chips all over the beach. And he starts talking about these wood chips, saying, like, we have to contain this. We have to make sure that no one, like, this is a safety hazard. And then he starts talking about how, like, these pieces of wood are just, they're killing people. Like, if you get cut by them, whatever's inside this wood chip enters your bloodstream. Your health deteriorates, and like several days later, you just fucking die.
Weird.
That was
Very weird.
That was in season 1.
It was in season, a lot of them.
It was in all of the seasons. What was it? Actually, since we're here, Mike, what was the reference in season 1?
The house in the middle of the ocean, and also the wood chips and Obama.
I was hoping that you would more put it into a digestible context and not just.
Oh
a
God, no!
general
I
one,
remember
but then-
snippets. I don't remember the full details. I just remember the
no, that's
yeah.
Well, think about the only wood we really talked
Yeah.
about through the Monument Mythos.
was it
He's a
trees?
glass. Yes.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's
It's the
honestly, now that
special
you've said
trees.
that,
It's
Yeah.
essentially the
it's the special trees.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
shit that comes from Wonderland. If it's from Wonderland, it's fucked up for us.
Don't touch it.
Don't fucking touch it. So it's a long ass clip of Obama talking about these killer wood chips. And by the way, that is legit what they are officially called.
Yeah.
Is killer wood chips.
Oh,
And so- The biggest trope that you're going to see through this entire 39-minute and 10-second video is you're going to watch everything twice. At the very minimum. Every piece of media that pops up, you are going to see again, but it will be corrected. So it's the exact same audio, the exact same visuals. However, something in the background is clarified.
They do that a lot in
Yes.
the NIXONVERSE.
Oh,
I will
God,
say.
yeah. Nothing is what it seems. You have to watch things twice to get the gist. And I think that was kind of a nod at that. Either way, it was super cool seeing like the first version and then seeing like the revised version or like the enhanced version. You just see a lot of weird shit. This video is fucking 40 minutes long. There's
Yeah.
so much to talk about. So after this, we get something called the Gainesville Boons.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Booms.
Boobs.
Apparently in 2011, there was a series of just humongous explosions or loud booms. And the best speculation we can get is just a weapons test. And so from this, we see a whole bunch of Facebook comments get posted about like what this is. We essentially see like a social media discussion about what this is. The very last thing we see is another comment, and it links to a video, and then they play the video that it links to, and it's literally like a 1.5 seconds long, and it shows part of the ocean starting to swell, almost like a bomb is going off underneath it, and then it cuts immediately. And that's all we see from that video. God, it's killing me not to talk about that more. So after this, they talk more about the boom a bit, but essentially it cuts to and then we see the retelling of like the fixed video of Obama. And honestly, I don't want to spoil that because it's so fucking subtle. Like it's literally a second and it's in the background of the shot. I just don't want to spoil it because it doesn't.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
I'm not going to.
Oh,
I'm legit not going to because it doesn't. It's not story driven. It just isn't. I feel like it's an Easter egg that was left there to see if anyone's paying attention. So if you see it, you find out what it is. Post it on a comment or as a comment in this episode description.
spoil it here for the patrons, and then Matt, as you're
No.
listening through, swap in this
Spoil it
audio
again.
Swap it again. Swap in this audio with "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" audio.
So we see Obama. He goes through his whole spiel again. And then we get a hard cut to a blue screen with white text, and it says, "The original House
Digital
Club."
dancing.
Digital dancing. Wow, this is fun. No, it's called the Original House Club.
Okay.
This was one of the strangest pieces of media that I've ever fucking ingested. If I'm being 100%
the whole
honest,
house thing is just weird as
I
is.
don't get it. I mean, I do get it because it has to do with some character in this mythos, but so very tangentially, like it's. I don't know. You have to be paying attention just to figure out what the fuck is going on here.
It's really hard to put pieces together in this one since we don't have the whole story yet.
Correct.
We have a lot of story, but not the whole
Not
story.
all of it. So we get the Original House Club, and this seems to be a club for house hunters. Now, I know all of you know what that word actually means in the DLUTIverse.
Yeah, it's when you are a butterfly, you catalog butterflies, and you can buy a house that's worth $1.6 million.
Did you have a stroke?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No, I know what he's
strong.
saying.
No, it's just I'm trying to do the meme, but
He's that fucking the house hunting people on the show. Like, I'm a
Oh.
part-time potato hanger, and I teach butterflies how to eat grass sometimes. Our budget is $4 million. Like, What are you talking about?
How?
Right.
How is your budget that much?
Right. But no, this is a house hunting club. Now, when you hear house hunters, you think of the show, I don't know, House
The
Hunters.
brothers.
Yeah. And just making good on houses, making them better than they were. Nope. This is, we take guns into the ocean and we hunt houses. I know a lot. I said a lot of words there. I know none of them made sense.
Some of those words were real words.
No, this is what happened. They went out on boats and they hunted houses. They practiced on a farm that was full of developments. I don't know what I was supposed to picture.
Try to make us understand this. I dare you. I dare you to try and make us understand what
I
you're
don't
trying
know
to say.
how, man. Like, this is a club for people who take guns and literally try to kill houses
So it's like
as
a
hunting
big
sport.
So it's a big game hunter, but he's shooting mansions,
Right. Mansions.
McMansions.
Absolutely.
So it's like a rhino, like a mansion, and
Yeah.
like a,
Right,
a
yeah.
deer is like
like an,
townhome.
like an
townhouse.
RV.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, all
It's
right.
different, but like reverse that. A house is like a rhino because you're shooting the house. Not the,
I've
not
shot
the
many
rhino.
a house.
Did you kill it?
I've also
though?
shot a rhino.
There's so many questions here. Either way, this is a literal club for sport hunting homes, which is a sentence that I don't think has ever been said in the history of
I mean, to be
humanity.
fair,
now.
we have live monuments going on.
That's
Yeah.
fair, but like
So-
that makes more sense than literally going out into the ocean and hunting houses.
Why are they in the water though?
That's what I'm fucking saying.
All right, get on with it. Get on.
So we see this house hunting club. We get some information about them, not a whole lot, but then we get a piece of text that says Ronald Reagan tried to kill the house in the ocean.
What a dick.
And so this is a 39-minute video. There's a lot going on. It's prefaced by saying like common urban legends or something like that. You quickly surmise that these urban legends only have to do with the NIXONVERSE in this case. And we get a story about how Ronald Reagan went out and tried to hunt houses, but he couldn't kill one because the windows wouldn't break. Are we all caught up? We're all on the same page.
I'm not caught up.
I'll
but
have what
I'll
you're
try to be.
smoking.
Like, I wish I was very high when I watched this. To be honest,
Dude, this shit
However-
would be so funny to watch while high.
I was laughing my ass off because I had no idea what I was looking at. None whatsoever.
Jason did the classic. I'm gonna watch this high, and then I'm gonna watch it sober, and then I'm gonna write my
and then I'm
notes.
gonna compare.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have done that. Should not have did that.
shan't have done.
At the end of this section, we learn that apparently not a single scratch has been put on the house in the ocean in over 50 years, which means it's either made of Gore-Tex and Kevlar, or
Is this like
It's not real.
the whale that gets like a fucking spear in its tail, and then
It's
like
the white
50
whale.
years later, you're like, that's the whale. Like it's got the spear.
I'm going to say a sentence, and I need you to take it seriously.
Oh god.
This house was Ronald Reagan's white whale.
Okay. I mean,
Yarr.
that sounds right.
Like, I'm just saying, I'm listening to myself right now, and I realize how crazy I sound, and I can't really do anything about it. So I'm so sorry.
I understand completely. I tried to explain to my father what the monument mythos was a week or two ago, and I kept saying things, and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
so sorry
I'm sure he got
that
it
I
down.
said that to you.
I'm sure he got it down.
I I just
insane.
kept having to apologize
Yeah.
for things that came out of my mouth. And I was like, why am I apologizing? I'm explaining
see,
this thing to you right now.
John D. Rockefeller has a bunch of trees that are white, and they send children back in time.
Dad,
I
you
was
don't
like, if you cut
understand.
the head off, it's still good.
You don't
You
understand.
don't have to.
George Washington didn't chop down the
Oh,
cherry tree. He sunk under it and got stretched
He
to
was the
oblivion
cherry tree.
and became the cherry tree.
I was like, there's a giant crab in Egypt.
that was named the Suez Canal.
Let's be real. That is the least weird out of everything
Yeah,
in
100%.
Embodiment
yeah.
Mythos.
I remember when we did part 1, I saw that. I'm like, mine, because weird. And now that we're in fucking part 4 of 9 or whatever, I'm like, that's the least weird
One
shit
thing that
that's
I have
happened.
seen the public ask for more is more
More
swaz
crab.
crab.
More-
Like they just need more crab.
More crab.
And I'm like, that's fine. And it's because Alex confirmed that there are more crab creatures out there.
More crabs.
It's his own doing.
It's
To
your
be
fault,
fair.
man.
So
Um,
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, we'll drink to more crab. More Suez crab.
Crab, 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 food, 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 crab.
So again, let me just reiterate. Ronald Reagan
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
House hunter extraordinaire.
tried to kill the house in the ocean.
Went on Property Brothers, bought a
Got
house.
eaten by a vampire.
Well, no, this
One
is
of the
House
brothers
Hunters.
said-
It's like perfect. It's House Hunters.
Again, not a scratch on the house in over 50 years.
He'd even try.
And then we get a hard fucking cut, a very hard cut to what I'm assuming is the
Did it sound like a skirp?
no, it was not.
Like, there's no, like-
no record scratch
Okay,
with
alright.
You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah, exactly. No, George W. Bush did not do that. But we do see George W. Bush. He pops up on screen. I forgot about that bumbling cowboy. Like, I solidly forgot he existed.
Love him.
It's literally his month right now.
Love. Yeah.
You're not wrong. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. So we get something titled The Last Phone Call with George W. Bush. And it's a very short sentence and it doesn't say much. And all of a sudden it switches and there's a bunch of yelling and screaming and howling noises and it says ambushed, or the bushes were ambushed. And so he just stopped speaking and there's this wailing, howling noise in the background.
Please tell me somebody whispers in his ear.
Sweet nothings, I hope, as well.
I don't know if that happens, but I can tell you what happened directly after. So the bushes got ambushed, right?
And
You know what that means?
the second tower got hit.
No, the seventh.
Oh, okay. That's true. Though.
It is, and that's a.
That's definitely a different.
We
topic
can't
for
talk
another
about that
time.
right now because I will go into some shit that we don't want to do right now.
We've all seen Zeitgeist.
Yeah. Oh, yes, we have. So we say the bushes were ambushed, and now we get an explanation. We hear wailing, we hear screaming, and this is what we see. Apparently, the house they were staying in didn't know they were in a house at this point, but they were staying in a house. Apparently, the house they were staying in.
They didn't. They were staying in a house, but they didn't know. They were
I
staying
didn't
in-
know they were in a house.
Got
it. There was no context, is
Okay.
what I'm saying. No context whatsoever. Essentially, it says that the bushes were ambushed, and we hear a bunch of screaming, and we see an explanation that says the house increased pressure, expanding the first lady, killing her instantly. And we see a picture. To be honest, I didn't know what I was looking at until they started explaining this, and they put an
Not,
arrow pointing at the first lady.
Not Laura.
What is
Not
happening
Laura
right now?
Bush. No.
It is Laura Bush.
Laura
Yeah,
Bush,
Laura,
no.
Laura Bush.
Oh no, Laura Bush.
According to the video, she expanded and then also compressed in the matter of like 3 seconds to the size to fill the window that she was trying to escape through, and then shrink back down. And all you see is like this black mass of dead flesh trying to get out a window. That's all you really recognize. And then you get another picture that says George Bush, and it literally just shows. It almost looks like his skin was like cut in ribbons and like stretched out over, like he was just pulled apart like a slinky. I don't know what I was looking at here.
I was really hoping
I really fucking don't.
it would just end on an image that just says George Bush, and that was the end of it. Although that reminds me, I think they're referencing two things there. One, it sounds like they're referencing the George Washington
Right.
thing.
Okay,
Two-
yeah.
Two,
Oh,
are they
shit.
maybe
You're right.
referencing the Ronald Reagan SCP, where he gets
Oh
cut
my
up
God.
a bunch?
I didn't even think of that.
I don't. Do I know this one?
No, we haven't
I was
covered it
gonna
yet.
say I don't think I know that one.
No, we haven't covered that one yet. Holy shit, Mike! You're a fucking
TLDR,
genius.
it's a bunch of weird tapes where Ronald Reagan's doing
Yeah.
his speech, and throughout the speech, he keeps getting like slices put into him deeper
yeah.
and deeper and more frequently, and he gets all fucked
Oh,
up.
I think I do know this one actually.
He was essentially transected.
Is it the
while
one on the
he was giving
VHS?
speech.
The
Yeah.
VHS
Yeah.
that keeps
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
I
so
do know
yeah,
this one.
you
Actually.
do.
I saw this on TikTok a long time. ago.
Okay, I thought it was in that game, and I'm like, fuck.
I'm sure it actually is. Which Mike, totally off topic, but I showed Jason the SCP game that I bought.
We're
and,
we're
oh
so
my
fucked,
fucking
man.
God.
We're gonna get real weird.
Oh,
I know that you say like I'm gonna skip the weird ones. That just means you're not playing the game.
no, I won't. The only weird ones I'll skip are the ones that cause like permanent pain and damage to my body.
So you're not playing the game is what I'm hearing.
Mike, I'm going to beat you.
if
They're
the,
dude, they're
if the game
something.
says chop off a thumb, I'm not gonna do it. But if it says get slapped on the ankle by
did we not just
to be
read
fair,
one?
there was one that
Yeah.
says you have to
Remove a body
remove a
part.
body part, but we're not sure what that means yet.
I hope that's why the Thalumil cards are. We're going off topic. We'll do this another time.
We'll talk about it later.
Bonus content. Anyway, so fuck, where was it? Oh yeah, the bush. The bushes were saved.
Yes, the bush.
George Bush turning into a slinky and getting pulled apart a bit. Like legit, it looks like he's getting turned into a Cenobite from fucking Hellraiser. Like he does not look okay, but it's got his name right there. And
Bush.
we're supposed to assume that this disfigured figure is George Bush now. Simply because he was attacked by a house. Don't ask me, guys. I do not have an explanation there.
wood beams can't melt steel fuel.
Wood chips can't fuck. Never mind. So then we get a cut, and we see the same thing again. So this is the trope. We see a thing, it gets an explanation. We see the same thing again, but it's been Mike. You got me.
I've got you.
You're not doing it.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I can hardly tell what you're doing from here. It just looks like you're throwing at bunny ears. I'm like, what am I doing?
You fuck a bunny, and then I'll move on. Anyway, so these are named. We get a quote that says the bushes are saved, and it's the same text that says the bushes are ambushed.
Yeah.
We go back through it. We
Lot
hear
of
some more
bush.
audio,
A lot of bush talk happening.
and we hear that Bush names the wood chips as a bumbling cowboy might, the killer wood chips. Because why use creativity when you don't have to?
Sounds like killer wood chips from outer space.
Yeah, like killer tomatoes from outer space.
Yeah.
Or killer clowns from outer space. So after
Now
this,
check out this golf swing.
we get a very fucking hard cut, and we get something called the Crescent King.
Ooh.
I didn't know what this had to do with the series until I got to the end, and
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite videos after seeing the entirety of the NIXONVERSE. So essentially we get a story about this constellation in the sky that keeps getting closer at like a fixed interval, almost like the stars are tied together. And somebody is just freaking the fuck out about it. And it's this guy telling a story, and it's like this flash animation. And he says, I saw these lights in the sky falling towards the earth, and they hit the stratosphere. When it hit the water, I was right. He was supposed to meet his friend to go out in the water. After this happens, so he goes to meet his friend, does not find his friend. Instead, he just gets mind fucked to oblivion by this thing called the Crescent King. The Crescent King essentially shows this man a constellation getting closer. And eventually, the stars that were coming closer, they enter the stratosphere, and then they drop to the ocean in a matter of like a second, and they hover there, right by our, I guess we can call him the antagonist of this episode. It's all flash animation. It's some dude telling a story to his friend. Eventually, we see the stars kind of like morph, and we see these organic tendrils start to come out of them, almost like a starfish. And we get this text, and it says, this audio from our protagonist saying, Eli, the Crescent King, arrives in 3 cycles. You are his container. And now this is a vision that our protagonist is seeing, is that the Crescent King will enter Earth's stratosphere, and he is going to use you as a vessel in 3 days. Right after this happens, he gets knocked to the floor, and he has this out-of-body experience. And essentially, he watches the Crescent King come to Earth and take his body over for like a test drive, and he gets sucked back to his body, and apparently...
So
that's what he did. He
just
took it
go
out
for a ride around the town. We can take it around the block once or twice. It's fine.
Yeah, just don't floor it. You'll be fine. So essentially, it shows the Crescent King taking his body, just to see what was going on, because he was just told that you're going to be the vessel. Takes it out for a test drive, leaves it, and then his consciousness slams back into his body. And when he wakes up, he realizes it's been 24 hours. So he's like, "Fuck, okay, 2 cycles now." After this happens, he goes, fuck, okay, if he's going to take my body, I need to spoil my body. So he plans on literally ruining his physical body. And he literally kicks his own ass unconscious. Like, he hurts himself so badly that he falls unconscious.
Like, let's see you try to ride this, bitch.
Pretty much.
Is he basically pulling a fucking was it Edward Norton in Fight Club? He's just beating the shit out of
exactly.
himself.
100%. Yes, this is what's happening here. At least
Except
that's what it looks
he had
like.
the insight to know what was happening.
So as this is happening, he shows himself kicking his own ass, wakes up, some more stuff happens. Long story short, he's been talking, like the person talking has been exposing, almost like he's talking to someone. As soon as we hear that he falls unconscious after kicking his own ass, we hear some questions coming from the other party who's listening to this. They sound pretty official. And this is kind of where we find out that he's actually like giving testimony to something. This is like a recording of an interrogation. And he essentially is trying to prove that this stuff happened, where he's given his body to the Crescent King, and he goes like, that doesn't make sense. And then we see flash animation where he tears his own head off and a bunch of tendrils come out of his neck and a bunch of howling and noises happen. And then we get a fucking Mickey cartoon. Remember, guys, this video is 40 fucking minutes long. Like, this is insanely, like, we're at about the 25-minute mark right now.
Oh, good.
So we get some there's a bunch of random stories that show up, and what I've learned is that this is like a breakdown of urban legends from within the NIXONVERSE that are apparently common knowledge. So like this universe is full of things that we never would have expected, because like reality works differently. And then we get a hard static cut to this like an explanation of like, this is a Mickey cartoon, how Walt Disney transmitted a version of this cartoon to the house in the ocean. The ones. So all of this should start to make sense, right? The hunting the houses, the this, the that. Like, there's a house in the ocean. People are threatened by it. They don't know what it is. There's a bunch of wood chips that washed up on shore. Walt Disney transmitted a transmission to the house. The house itself took the transmission. No one's living there. It then transmitted the same transmission back, but it changed it. And it took Mickey Mouse, and guys, it fucked up Mickey. It fucked Mickey to oblivion. Like, this was a terrifying cartoon to watch. It shows like this floating like smoke Mickey that's like full of worms or eels or some shit, and there's like another Mickey that's got super sharp teeth that doesn't know what it's doing and can't look in the right direction.
This is Disney.
Abandoned Disney is what this might as well be.
Disney World.
So after we see all of this, this is the last 20 minutes is this fucked up Mickey cartoon. And I'm not going to go into it. Guys, go watch it. Like, hit the 15-minute mark on this video and then just watch the rest. especially if you're high, because holy shit, it is a fucking trip if you do that. Essentially what happens is we learned that this video of this Mickey cartoon is actually describing this method in which the Crescent King grooms minds to essentially enter, take over, kill, and then move on.
He's
like a
groomer?
parasite. He's like a parasite.
Cancel the Crescent King. He's a groomer.
Fuck yeah, we should. And with that, we get to the last video in my installment. I'm so sorry for how long this took. That video was a behemoth. This last one's called The Sea of the Last Sun, and this is actually a continuation of the story of the last son of Alcatraz from my first video, Jesus in Vietnam.
In my video, The Last Son of Alcatraz.
Exactly. Yep. This is technically part 3 of this story. So this episode opens up and it's got a red landscape. It's just got simple text that says, like Jesus, he became a carpenter. And it shows a cross, and it shows the last son in the form of a crucified Jesus. And he slides across the landscape with other text showing up. Essentially, it says he went off the coast of Dark Alaska, which are the remains. So Dark Alaska is the remains of Alaska after we nuked the last son of Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to nuke him. We just turned Alaska into a desolate wasteland.
And I'm
So when we
assuming
say-
that's what took his eye.
See, this is the thing.
It's hard to say right now.
These terms will tell you exactly where these take place. So when you hear Dark Alaska, you assume that's after the nukes hit, right?
Yeah.
But if you hear Alaska, that's before the attack on the sun.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
as long as you're paying attention to the verbiage and how they're speaking,
Subtle
you can put
cues.
this in a very easy chronological order.
Mhm.
So
I don't know if easy's the correct
No,
term, but
easy's not the correct term,
Fun,
but
though. I would
it's
say
a lot
fun.
simpler than I thought. I thought it was way more complicated than I saw the fucking pattern. I was like, oh, this actually isn't that bad. So again, Dark Alaska, remains of Alaska after the United States essentially destroyed it with nuclear bombs to try and capture the last sun. The crucified last sun's cross starts rotating on its side, and the long plank becoming the base for his feet, it essentially morphs the last sun into like the frame of a house.
Oh hell.
Weird. I hope this is lining up for some people.
He went-
I fucking hope it is.
He
and
became
if it doesn't,
Nick's Nancy.
I'll help you in my episodes.
Yes. I have a little bit left here. Essentially, it confirms the end of this video that the last son has used his powers to shapeshift into a house that lives in the ocean with text that states, "The house in the ocean is not an urban legend. It is a cover story."
Shock and awe. Obama.
Shock and awe.
Obama.
Shock and Obama.
Shock
Put
and
the
Obama.
applause sign up.
Right. Hit the applause sign, guys. Oh, we don't have any.
Redacted.
Yeah,
That works.
yeah,
that
works.
sounds right.
So my very last section of this is essentially just, it's aptly named Lunarian Encounter.
Hey.
This video cuts to a depiction of a meeting, an encounter, I don't know, between man, you really gotta know your shit for this one. So in the last video, you do see something that was labeled a Lunarian cloud ship. You see this in the video, and it essentially says that it hovers over where the last son of Alcatraz is, and this is the conversation that followed. The Lunarians say, "Greetings. Are you the being known as the last son?" Actually, Doug, you want to help me out? Who do you want to play? You want to play Lunarians or the last son?
I don't care.
Okay,
you tell me.
You're the last son. You ready?
Oh, okay.
Greetings. Are you the being known as the last son?
Yes, I was.
Who are you now?
I have abandoned human matters for a peaceful existence. I inflicted enough damage on Vietnam.
It was not you. You were not yourself.
I was, and always will have been, a vessel for hate and destruction.
Yet, You have the will to change.
Doug, be Kermit.
Even now. What?
Doug, become Kermit.
All right, I got you.
Yet you have the will to change. Even now, you resemble a house more than a human being.
It is a copy of my childhood home. It is how I wish to present myself for those I have hurt.
Your powers are more similar to a Lunarian king than a man. You may be the king in our prophecy. Join our kingdom and discover yourself.
I belong to no nation.
Rule our kingdom.
I will not. This is my domain, my sea.
A sea of the last sun? Foolish. Our prophecy is set. You will sit on the throne that is rightfully yours.
No.
So,
How about a drawing, Mel? Can you get us a drawing?
can you get us a drawing, Mel? Mel! Mel! Fucking hell, Mel! Mel! That's a good segment name. Fucking hell, Mel.
Fucking hell, Mel.
Anyway. God damn, we're just coming up with this show as we create it. So after this, we see the Lunarian cloud ship descend upon the last sun, and it turns the video to a very, very, like, bright white light, and it removes the top half of the last sun's form. You see a bunch of silhouettes. There's a man. There's a caped hero.
Uh-huh.
You see a crucified Jesus.
Uh-huh.
And then you see a creature with a crescent head.
Uh-huh.
The image then zooms out to show all four side by side
Uh-huh.
with the text
Uh-huh.
reading.
Uh-huh.
Do it.
Evolution of the last sun.
Oh, shit. There it is.
That's
I
honestly,
just preed.
when I saw that, I got
Motherfucking
goosebumps. Like that was a fucking great reveal.
Yeah.
Fucking preed
They're
everywhere.
all
Yeah.
the same thing.
They're all the same fucking person thing. What? Doug, get us out of here. This is a fucking great cliffhanger. However, it doesn't have to be a cliffhanger.
All right, so we go to episode 9, right?
Although,
It's called the.
what a cliffhanger
Go
of an
on.
end of an episode that could have been if there weren't only
You
like
think that you could just start talking?
3 small things left, you know?
Sometimes I talk.
I just fucked up real bad.
Well, yeah,
He's
you're on
taking
your...
a man shot.
Oh
over here.
man, I'm
Shot.
taking like 3 shots.
Maybe.
All right, hold on.
Are you counting shots? Don't count beers, bro. That's fucking.
Oh, you're
We're gonna
right.
finish this
Yeah.
bottle. Don't even tell me what.
What a fucking ending, though. Like, if there weren't just like 3-4 minute episodes of this left, what a fucking cliffhanger of an episode that would have been. You know?
Seriously,
I will say, if you're still listening and you're still with us,
Why?
everything is about to make so much more fucking sense in about the next half hour. I swear.
Yep. Holy
There's so much that goes into these 3 to 5 minute videos, and it's fucking wild because nothing I've ever watched before has been able to put 45 to an hour's worth of information into 3 to 5 minutes an episode.
and make it good.
Right. And that's
How do you do that? And make it good. Oh,
I don't
Alex,
know. I truly
Alex, you want to be our manager? We could use we could use some shit here.
there is something that has to be said for the amount of information that's put into such a small amount of time that still makes for good content, and that's what we love to see.
Hell
Anyways,
yes.
let's go to
Gushing
episode
over.
9, right? gush done. So episode 9 is called The D-Day Night Returns, all right? And we open this video with a giant wall of text that is just like scrolling like you're in the fucking Star Wars, you know? And it says, after the Vietnam War, the last son became the Crescent King. Wow. Where have we heard that before? That should put a lot of things together for you,
Mhm.
huh?
Also, I think we might be able to reveal right here as well. Like,
Oh,
The-
I'm
the
going
Crescent-
to reveal so much right now.
yeah, you know, you're right. Go ahead. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. You do your thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, please chime in where you can, honestly, though, because there's a lot of information I'm about to go over, and I hope I hit all of it. So
Just-
if you hear something and you're like, just go ahead.
I think you're gonna
All right,
pencil
so-
in later, but yeah.
So it says, after the Vietnam War, the last son became the Crescent King. And it then says, the Lunarians used him to destroy language in America slowly. Eventually, no one understood anyone. Lunarians built the schools everywhere. Schools taught people their new language. We hear their language. We speak their language. We think their language. English is hard because the world is theirs now. It will take all of them to relearn everything. Now, I want to just point out that when you're seeing this text on the screen, it is gibberish. Like, you have to kind of piece together these broken words to figure out what this says.
Is it like the equivalent of when you like mix mash the letters in a word, except like the first and the last, and it's like, you can read this because you're smart.
Almost, yeah. But it seems more like someone who has no idea what the fuck English is, but kind of knows what English is, wrote a bunch of words and was like, I hope that makes sense. And so basically this text is all jumbled because the Crescent King basically was forced to become king of the Lunarians, and basically had to basically took away language from Earth, in I guess the most simplest terms. So after with this giant wall of text that we see, I kind of paraphrased it. There's a little bit more to it, but I kind of hit the most important things. It changes to what is the story of a boy. And this is the origin story of the last son. And in short, through this whole segment, I don't want to go over the whole thing, but basically this boy is driving down a road and he hits a car, and we get this scene where it doesn't directly say it, but the person that he hits, we have to fucking assume is James Dean.
It charters back to the first episode where they referenced the car
First
crash.
fucking episode.
Yep. And this boy kills James Dean, and then
Goosebumps.
he like tries to pull this dying man out of the wreckage, and he passes out. And then once he wakes up, some shit is going down, and he's forced to jump off a cliff, and the boy decides that he believes so hard that he can fly, that before he hits the water after jumping off this tall cliff, he is soaring over the ocean,
Just
a
like
fucking
Just like
a
the
jet plane.
Lunarian
Like-
Queen said, if you believe in love and you're a kind person, then you can fly and you
Yes!
become
Exactly.
a god.
Nailed it.
Yep.
We've heard this story before, haven't we?
Now,
With Peter Pan?
I just want to say
You can fly.
that it is very much implied that there is a lot going on here. However,
Yeah.
however,
yeah.
it is now basically confirmed that the origin story of the last son is that this is Richard Nixon.
At least part
And
of
that
it.
now we have multiple Richard Nixons in this universe.
It's also wild
Mhm.
that this is like the first mention of Nixon throughout all
Yeah.
of
this is literally this is the first real mention of Richard Nixon. And so
Holy
if you look
shit.
at this story, so it's like animated, right? This animated story, if you go and actually in DLUTIverse, like look at pictures of Richard Nixon, all of these like
Mhm.
images are like redrawn
real
images
ones,
of like
yeah.
actual Richard Nixon images. Like, it's fucking crazy. So
I'm pretty sure they edited the old how I mentioned before, the Superman TV show, like the old how they photoshopped him. Pretty sure they photoshopped the face very slightly to resemble Nixon, ever so slightly.
oh
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, 100%.
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, so this part is this whole little story that happens is super crazy. But after this little story of the origin of the last son, we get to we cut to a broadcast, and it's in this really fucking weird voice. You can hardly tell what it's saying. But there is
Subtitles.
well,
Thank God.
yeah, there's text on the screen, but it's written in the
Yeah.
the language that now Earth doesn't know.
The weird Lunarian, but
Yep.
not language.
Yeah, and if you listen really, really carefully, you can kind of tell that this is Alice Avenue talking.
Look at that.
It's very
Wow.
it's the same voice, so no spoilers, but it is Alice Avenue. And then we cut to a picture at the end showing a person falling from a building. Now, I didn't go over the whole broadcast, and there's a reason for that, because A, it's written really bad. It makes a whole lot of sense, but it is written poorly. So long story short, after we get this broadcast from Alice Avenue, we get a picture at the end, and it shows a person falling from a building, and a text that reads, basically, after broadcast, Knight dropped Alice Avenue off Chrysler Building. No one is gone forever. Do not share their secrets.
Holy shit.
Now, I'm going to try to go over this in a nutshell version, but essentially,
Good fucking luck.
before we see this little blip,
Mhm.
we hear Alice Avenue talking about how to reverse the knight, or the king, I'm sorry.
The king, yeah.
And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense now, but essentially what's happening is that this is a reference to basically Alice. What she's doing is she is explaining how to reverse the king to get language back on Earth. And this in turn caused the knight to drop her from the Chrysler Building. And I can't go into the theory on why this happened now,
Nope.
but we will
No, you can't.
touch on this at the end, I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
I don't know why,
Yep,
but this
because
reminded
right now
me.
it
This reminded me
Go
of in the Deanverse, and again, we can cut this out if I'm spoiling something because I don't remember the ending of this.
I don't think so.
But in the Deanverse one, where that one lady jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
this gave me that
Yeah,
exact
yeah.
same type of vibe.
No, dude, there's
actually
I'm
a-
so happy you picked up on that.
Yeah, there's actually a full blown theory
Yeah.
reference that
Yep.
this is for. And I don't know if you looked into this at all, Mike, but we'll cut and paste as we need to. But that's the first episode. So we'll go into this theory a little bit later. I don't want to go into it now because it's going to spoil a lot of things, and I don't want to do that.
Nah,
So, episode 10, it's called D-Day Nightfall. Now, this opens with a poster that says night and day. And we see a poster, and on this poster, not only does it say night and day, but it is a blatant big picture of Frank Sinatra. And it's basically his album as if it were like a magazine cover almost. I'm not really sure how to explain that. But we see this Frank Sinatra poster that says night and day, and the night says it's spelled with a K, or like somebody wrote K over night essentially. But we cut and we see New York City, and there's a Lunarian cloud ship over the top of New York City, and literally in big bold letters it says Lunarian cloud ship conducting electrical brain surgery on human civilians. Now, what do we know about this? How do I explain this? We know right now that the Lunarians are basically stealing language from Earth.
Yep.
No one knows what the English language is anymore. And it's really hard to explain that without being like, they just got their language stole from their head. So basically,
It's like if someone were to say a word, but you just hear static.
right. They basically are erasing the minds of
Yeah.
people.
Like if I were to say frog, but the concept of frog in your brain was erased, you would just hear.
Yeah, it's like when you hear another language
Yeah.
and you don't know what they're saying, you're like, oh yeah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So after we see this Lunarian cloud ship, we see written words on the screen that say, "Dear World Nightly, I lost my temper. I didn't mean to hurt her. It's okay because she still lives. In my world, statues hold souls. Hers is evidence." And then it's signed, The Knight. So this
Look at
kind of
that.
confirms that the knight was the one who dropped Alice off of the Chrysler building in the episode prior. And I think the knight thinks that because where they may have come from, there was statues that held people's souls inside of them.
Or skin or
So-
amalgamation of the.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just setting something up.
So we then see that basically someone is filming a statue of a woman and they are just heavy fucking breathing, right?
That's not great.
It's really weird. There's like you'll see the statue and then they'll close up on the statue and like the mouth's gone and like one eye is gone and like the filming of this
Eye.
is very weird. Like it's great, but it's weird. Like for sure weird.
Makes you feel
Um,
things.
So after we see this for quite a while, actually, it goes on for a little longer than
Yeah.
I'd like. It then cuts to an outline of the D-Day night, and it says the D-Day night is wearing the head of Alice Avenue's statue. And we were literally just looking at this statue in the
Mhm.
clip before. And then we see this outline with him with the head on for a while, and then it cuts to another part and it says he removes it the next day. Now, I have to talk about this because it
Mhm.
makes all
Yes.
the connections.
Yes,
What
you
did the
do.
statue head look like?
Why was it
Well,
removed?
it didn't look like what I think you're referring to it as because it looked like her head. However, if we know anything from the monument mythos, if you cut someone's head off with Giza glass,
What happens?
it turns into a fucking crown.
Canyon crowns.
And a canyon crown is a living head. But what happens here? He wears her head, but the same thing doesn't happen. He thinks that this statue's head is going to still be a living thing. And then he realizes, oh shit,
I done fucked up.
I killed this woman and she's not the thing I thought
Alive.
she was. She's now a new being. She's a dead being. Oops.
A dead new being.
So it then cuts to something that is extremely hard to make out. Like it looks like just this Lovecraftian
Yep.
gobbledygook, gabagool, whatever you want to call it, just blob, right? And it kind of focuses on this for a while, but it then zooms into it and it says I. EYE, you know, I. And it zooms in and it zooms in and it kind of zooms in on something that does look like an eye. And
It's
you're
like,
like,
the,
oh,
it's like from one of the videos I talked about where they zoom in on the staff of the Queen
Right,
Lunarians
right.
with the eye.
Exactly. The eye, big motif here, huh?
Huh, weird.
So as soon as it zooms in on the eye and then it, you know, in text says I, it says grief can make you a monster. So this can possibly be interpreted that the night, the D-Day night, has now changed into a monster due to killing Alice Avenue after, you know, dropping her off the Chrysler building and seriously regretting his actions. Because if there's anything we learned, if we go back to the last video where we actually get the origin of well, it's not the origin of the D-Day night, but
Dude, I'm
there's some
dying right now.
connections that you could make essentially.
I'm fucking dying. Just make it.
I know, where the D-Day night and the last son basically essentially want to be able to save everyone and do all the good things. He's very much regretting the shit that he's done.
Weird.
And
It's like a change of heart happens.
it is very weird. So, with that being said, without giving away too much more, we will move on to episode 11. So, episode 11 is entitled Nixon is God.
Woo!
All right. So,
Boy.
hold on to your butts,
Yeah.
everybody.
4 more
'Cause
years.
this- because this episode and the next episode are fucking wild. So we start this episode with the autopsy of Ed Dwight.
Hey.
And just like we had in one of the earlier episodes, we get a very interesting autopsy with a very interesting reason of death. And it says, the paper says, self-inflicted head wound with a ray gun, location, the moon, and that the motive for the blast may be revealed in the last audio recording by the victim.
Wild.
Moon's haunted.
So
Moon's haunted.
Moon's haunted.
the moon is way
Fox
haunted.
pistol. Moon's.
Dude, that's the best comic I've ever fucking seen. What's happening? Why are you going back? Moon's haunted.
What?
What?
Moon's
I
haunted.
said Moon's haunted.
I say moon's haunted.
But
Anyway.
that is
yeah.
the reference to the audio from my
Yes.
episode where
Yep.
he's like, shoot it. Turns out he didn't shoot the queen.
Yeah, you're gonna find out some fucking wild shit. I need a fucking smoke for this one. This one is fucking wild.
This is better than sex.
I can't blame you, man.
All right.
Your video selections were fucking wild.
I
You got the
just-
bat shit.
I know, I really did though.
Yeah.
So, blast is revealed in the last audio recording by the victim, right? We get a big note. It says note in all caps. The following audio that is heard is not the voice of Ed Dwight, but an anonymous voice widely referred to as the moon god. All right.
Mm.
All right. All right. All right. We
Oh my god.
Are you following?
I didn't.
Is everybody
I
listening
didn't
following?
catch this the first time.
It's fucking wild. So we
They
get
said the moon god, right?
No, it's
yeah,
moon
it's the
unit.
the moon god.
I didn't. So
So it says God, of course, is the greatest philosopher of all, and then it literally is attributed to Richard Nixon.
Yep.
Can you say
All
it in
right.
your best Richard
What
Nixon
else was
voice?
attributed to Richard Nixon in this fucking video?
I don't know. Super AIDS?
No, the Our Father prayer.
Oh, right.
Anything that's
was
attributed to
off.
Nixon, I need you to do your best impression.
I can't. I'm not
Just
doing
try.
It's just Futurama
Yeah,
did it.
just try. Yeah.
Simpsons did it.
it. All right. So, ignoring Mike, basically what it says is we get this like basically image of Richard Nixon sitting on the moon, and it says Nixon says he landed on the moon when he left the Serpent.
It's all coming
I
together,
I
guys.
will explain more at the end. All right. Nixon says he landed on the moon when he left the Serpent. He produced 3 beings out of himself: the sun, the night, and the queen.
That's also a reference to mine where it was that weird riff thing that I was talking about. Guess who that was? Oh my god, weird.
Yep.
Oh,
They
weird.
are all extensions of himself.
Yep.
Can I say one
and they
thing?
are
I
meant-
got to bring this up.
Please.
Did
do.
you think we could get past this
No,
without?
no.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This has been like eating away
Don't
at
be
me
sorry.
because I keep thinking someone's going to bring it up, and you might later, but I'm going to have to do it now because I'm going to explode.
Don't be sorry, man. Just
The
I
D-Day
love
night.
these moments.
The D-Day night has his helmet, and it's 2 horns going up like this. It's called the Crescent King for a fucking reason. What do you think that's a reference to?
What do you think the crescent? What do you
It's
think
the
that
fucking
He's a
came
helmet.
from?
goddamn serpent.
It's the but the helmet is the
Horned
crescent.
serpents.
It's the crescent.
The crescent
and
king.
It's the horn. Yes,
D-Day
exactly.
night.
Oh
it
my
doesn't
god!
fucking matter.
I had to
It's all
say
the
it.
same shit.
I had to fucking say it. The
Yes.
helmet's the fucking crescent part.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
the helmet is the serpent
It's a-
king,
it's an
and he turns
evolution.
it into the crescent king.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking like rock
It's just
hard
an
sitting here
evolution.
waiting for someone to say something. I'm like,
This is
I actually
just.
do have that. I think I said that at some point, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
This
it's
is just like
all
a
crazy.
This is
It's
just like
all
a
crazy.
Dragon Ball evolution.
Yeah.
ew,
Well, no.
ew. Don't you fucking
so-
dare. No, shut up, Doug. Don't you fucking dare bring that into my household.
I knew that.
You
this would
garbage
bring
person. I'm leaving the
the show.
podcast.
to a grinding halt.
Okay,
All
I'm going to shut up.
All right. All right. So he says that they are all extensions of himself and that they are meant to test our world. They will go mad in each their own way if the world is not kind to them, which he basically assumed was going to happen. And then he says their sacrifice will make it so that he cannot step foot on Earth. He will basically only stay on the moon. And now we can assume that this is Richard Nixon, who's basically just living on the moon.
Or Cubert, one of the two.
The sun will become the king of the Lunarians. So we know that the sun turns into the Crescent King and basically becomes king of Lunarians. We've heard this already. We know this already.
Mhm.
But Nixon must destroy him. He will be the most dangerous leader in the universe. No human was ever meant to hear the words that he was saying. Richard Nixon's words.
Our
Obviously.
Father.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Go
So
ahead.
after we hear this, we cut to what looks like two bodies. It's just like a head and like half a torso and like kind of a leg, and they have this weird red dot in their eye. All right, and that's how this episode ends. Nothing is really explained further in this, and that's where this specific episode cuts
It's
off.
the ringleader from 2H32.
We learned so much from this one episode. It is fucking wild. Like we now know that Nixon is behind all of this. We can assume that fucking when the Great Division happened, that Nixon essentially is a sole survivor of this, and I will go into that in this next episode. I will go. I'm
won't
getting
ruin it.
ahead of myself.
Sorry,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
that close
All
to
right,
ruining
so
it.
we get to episode 12, right?
Yeah.
The Ed Dwight paradox is what this one is called.
Mhm.
This is a good
Ed
one.
Dwight. We talked about him
Yeah,
before.
Astronaut.
First man on the moon.
First man on the moon in the NIXONVERSE.
Shot himself.
But he's just a mere man that tried to go to the moon, but now makes statues in the DLUTIverse. All right, true to life, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we open with a recording of Ed Dwight, and basically it states once again, we saw this once, we're gonna see it again. It says this audio doesn't contain any actual Ed Dwight in it. I don't know why we're hearing audio of Ed Dwight, but it doesn't contain him. He's not in it. But we do hear him say the same line 3 times, once in a calm manner or twice in a calm manner and once in a angry manner. And I don't really know what this has to do with anything. I could not
It's
really.
the anger voice.
That's fair. I really couldn't pinpoint that into anything specific to this whole thing, but that's fine. So again, audio doesn't contain Ed Dwight. So we see the opening sequence for this episode. Like after we see this recording, it's like recording of Ed Dwight doesn't actually contain Ed Dwight. We see a opening sequence, and it's a chessboard. And this chessboard has a knight in the middle of the board. It then says on the screen, Queen to Knight. And we get this text that says, I want, or well, it's not really text. It's kind of text, but it's also someone reading
we get
it. It
this
says,
text that says, "Come play punch chess with me."
Creature collection.
yeah. So we see this text on the screen, and we hear someone reading it. It says, I wanted to welcome them. I wanted to welcome all humans to our kingdom. We would have been great together. My invitation was met with pain. Their world is built on inequality. Knight, you are now blind and deaf. As long as you stay on your earth, your senses will not return. Join our kingdom and become a prince alongside me. Rule with our king. There is no prophecy. There is only me. Now, I just want to say there's something I didn't really touch on 2 episodes ago.
Thank you.
The D-Day Nightfall.
Thank you.
Now, we know that these 3 entities are offshoots of Nixon, but we didn't really know who the D-Day Knight was. Now, I want to say this now because we have a bit more information, but when we see in episode 10, the D-Day Nightfall, we see that poster that opens with night and day, where it's a giant picture of Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
Literally, we kind of now have to confirm that the D-Day Knight is fucking Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
all
Favorite breadcrumb.
all of the fucking like explanations and the descriptors of the D-Day Night get shown in this poster of Frank Sinatra, and it is literally like, that's who the fucking motherfucker is. That is the D-Day night. That fucking Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
He took time off.
Doesn't have a whole.
He took time off from beating his wife to become the god of the universe.
I hate that he influenced music so much because of how terrible of a human he was.
Same with Elvis.
God damn.
Elvis sucked.
People forget
This
was
Elvis
the
was
fucking
24
worst.
and married a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, no, he was a rapist.
People
Yeah,
forget
no,
that.
pedophile for sure.
Mhm.
Anyways, not to get on that whole subject, but yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up now because I think we've gone past the
Yes.
point of where you should be able to infer this from that. Because now,
What Doug is saying is, you're stupid if you didn't know.
yeah, you have to know now because we're in the last episode.
Yep.
So basically, after we get all of that text from the Queen to the Knight, we cut to another wall of text that says Alcatraz checkmate. And Alcatraz matter attacks Lunarian bodies and destroys the cloud ships. So I know those words are words and they don't make a whole lot of sense, but essentially going from season 2, where we learn that the Alcatraz has multiplied,
Copied,
everything,
copy, delete, paste, I guess.
the Alcatraz sun, as we've heard before,
The last son of Alcatraz.
basically attacks these Lunarians and their cloud ships and brings them down, and then human language is restored after 9 months.
Ooh.
So basically what we're seeing is this night
The
is
birth of
basically
language
overtaking-
in 9 months. Coincidence?
Nope, that's
Never heard that before.
definitely a call out.
So yeah, long story short, humans get their language back, or Earth, I should say, get their language back. It's restored after 9 months of all of the cloud ships going down. And then we see this text that we've seen before. It says, grief made him a monster. He will not stop crying. He does not want to live. And while we see this text on screen, we see the horned serpent
Ah,
in the background
horny
rising
serpent.
from the ground. And it says the horned serpent lives.
Ah,
The man under America. The horned serpent.
horny man under
However,
America.
we're in the NIXONVerse.
We are in the NIXONVerse.
Horny
which
man under
means,
Alaska.
So
It's
Oh, God.
it's horny man
That
under
was
Alaska.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see the horned serpent lives, and we cut to an image of Nixon on the moon again.
Ah.
Yep.
And it says, there will be no physical altercation.
Oh.
I will not bring about an end like
No,
that
no,
of
no.
my own world.
Nixon voice.
I can't
Just
do
try
a
it.
Nixon voice.
Right. If you can do Kermit, you can do Nixon. It's not that different.
There will be no physical altercation.
That's Vegeta.
Oh, right. Shit. He says the only way
It
to
still
destroy
works.
the
I'm sorry.
God damn it.
That was too funny.
You sounded like Motorhead.
It's the Ace of Springs.
The only way.
Holy shit, you
sound
sound
like
like Motorhead. Holy fuck.
So,
Anyway,
the only way to destroy the Crescent King is to render him as fiction. The same way your mythology and urban legends took power from gods and
holy
monsters.
shit.
Mm.
He will have no authority once no one believes he is real.
Are you saying we have to evict him from reality?
I must render myself as fiction. I have involved myself too deeply. Like your world, I will be a necessary sacrifice. No one will feel pain. No one will be killed. And this world will be fictionalized.
Mm.
Almost like we're preemptively setting up for season 3 of the Monument Mythos.
Weird.
Crack open
So-
your Bibles, boys and girls. We're going to Corinthians 7.
We get this wild wall of text, right? Like we have been the whole fucking NIXONVerse.
Vorse.
The NIXONVerse. All of these videos, you heard fucking Jason say it. It's all this like propaganda.
Yep.
text on the screen like you're stupid if you don't follow these rules kind of a
Get on our
situation. And that's exactly what I just read to you. It's just text on a screen telling you you're stupid if you don't believe what's being said. So
But who's
once
it
this
sent by?
text wall finishes, we then get the audio of a woman speaking, and it says, Ed Dwight did not blast himself. It was Nixon who did it. Nixon was
Ooh.
only one of many survivors. Where are we going with this? Can you tell me, Mike? Nixon was only one of many survivors. What does that mean? What
The
would this
last
possibly be a
son
reference to?
of Alcatraz.
No.
Not
No,
even
no, no.
close. Go
Let's-
back to
let's-
season 1.
Yeah,
George
Season 1.
Washington.
No.
Carver.
No.
Nope.
See,
The
let's think about
House.
season 2 into season 3 when the
James
universe got
Dean.
Nope, stop talking.
Stop talking.
Just stop talking for
Monty.
2 seconds.
Monty.
Yes, you're right. It is corner folk. Wow.
Corner.
Great guess,
Corner.
Mike.
Corner.
Corner folks.
Corner
So we can
folk.
only assume that Nixon happened to be one of the corner folk that
Very
that
few
happened
corner
to
folk.
survive
Mhm.
the Great Division when the worlds started to basically end and then subtract from each other, right?
Doug, can you define corner folk? Because it's been a minute since we talked about them.
Corner folk were the few people that survived the Great Division
by
who then-
Alcatraz.
by Alcatraz, who then, by Alcatraz, but essentially because the angel killed
Yes.
freedom,
Yep.
it broke our universe, or their universe, I should say, the DLUTIverse. And then all these people that survived were now corner folk, quote unquote,
Which is
who
the
could
first
travel between
episode.
essentially
first-
dimensions.
Fucking episode that we ever see about the Monument Mythos is about corner folk.
Right.
And we don't know what that means. Yet here we are.
So that being said,
I would
and this is
love-
only this is just a guesstimate that this is a corner folk reference. I don't know for sure because the Nixon
survivors.
It's gotta be.
Right.
Yeah.
Corner folk have been coined as like the survivors of the Great Division.
Right.
They're not copies, they're the originals. Like,
I
that's
would
why they
love
only
if-
exist.
If
Like,
you could go
yes.
back 10 years and say the sentence, when the angel killed freedom, it created the corner folk. And
Yeah, we'd have a
you would be in
Mike,
the
I'm
mental
pretty
We'd be
version.
sure-
sued.
I'm pretty sure you just quoted the thing that started the Civil War.
Probably. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you could
because-
just keep that to your fucking self from now on, that'd be great.
Yeah, as much as we say
Lincoln was like, I freed the slaves, and then he
about
realized
the
that like
corner
what he
folk?
had done.
Fuck the corner folk. Well, I guess we got to go to war.
Ah,
this
shit.
does open up like, oh my god, like so the entire bit with the monument mythos and everything is like an allegory for how America views the world and how the world views America, all that, yada yada yada. I love
Oh, just
the
wait.
concept of like a superpowered president being like an otherworldly figure and things like that. Like there's something to that I love. Like, who are we going to see next? You know, are we going to see like James K. Polk come out of nowhere?
Oh my god.
You know, are we going to see?
What
What
a
a
fucking-
niche reference.
Are we going
Holy
to see
shit,
goddamn
man.
Lincoln come out of his timeline and have like a
No,
weird
he was
Civil
he's full of
War?
lurkers.
That's true, but
Well, here, let me. I have 3 bullet notes left, Mike.
go ahead.
Before I'm done. So after we hear that he is one of only many survivors, Nixon used his power to erase history. He erased
Like
the
all of it?
past. So Ed Dwight was twice the god that Nixon could ever be.
Oh my god.
Ed Dwight never went to the moon in our world. Instead, he creates monuments. Ed Dwight deserves the past.
Ed Dwight deserves to die.
All of these things coalescing into what we know as the monument mythos, the DLUTIverse, the
Stem.
Montyverse, the NIXONVERSE.
Where'd they all come from, Doug? What was that point in time?
Everything that makes sense about the NIXONVERSE came from the Great Division. And everything that has happened or did happen was now erased by Richard Nixon in this new NIXONVERSE,
The alternates.
which makes a complete alternate universe which means that nothing in the other universes
The Deanverse.
matter. The Deanverse, the Montyverse, the
The
DLUTIverse.
DLUTIverse does not
Even
matter.
though the DLUTIverse is actually closer to the NIXONVERSE than we want it to be, but off topic as fuck. But all of these things are now making sense, and these weird little connectors that are happening from the Monument Mythos to the Deanverse are now becoming more apparent, and we don't have the full scope of what the NIXONVERSE holds because we don't have season 2 of the NIXONVERSE yet. So we have to assume that everything Nixon has done up until now makes zero, like nothing in the other universes matter.
He wiped.
So
a
we have to
clean
wait for
slate.
season 2 to actually connect the dots on what these random snippets of people know in the NIXONVERSE, because there's parts of them that are like,
I have a theory.
the statues hold souls. Why does he
Yep.
know that?
Yep.
Why does he know that if that's not in the NIXONVERSE?
Because Richard Nixon
He's
and
not
John D.
from the
Rockefeller are
NIXONVERSE.
the same person between universes.
Are we calling it now? Are you calling
That's
it
my
now?
that is my guess.
All right.
You saw where it
Let-
began.
no, yeah,
the
let's-
Rockefeller Center with the special tree with Virginia.
We have no special trees in the NIXONVERSE
I
yet.
know, not yet.
We
No,
have
no, we do.
wood
We have
chips.
that- yeah,
We have
the
wood chips.
yeah.
We have wood chips,
But we don't know.
But that was built from the house that got blown up, and the house. I mean, at this point, we can fucking say it, right?
right.
It was just the last son.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the last son was the house, which is why these wood chips are killing people when they touch them because they're made of this alien material that's too sharp for our skin. They shaved it down and it was safe now. And da, da, da. But either way,
I think we just had
it's-
a universal reset now,
That's
we did,
exactly
we
what's
did.
happening.
We had a
Yes.
full blown.
and that gives.
and
into
we're
this.
going
So,
right back into to the
Mr. Manticore. Alex uploaded himself.
Is it really the Montyverse or Nixon
No, no,
or
no.
Deanverse?
We're done with that. We're done with that. Now we're in the modern verse. So it's the modern day now. The new upload is called.
So we're in an uncharted
the,
territory, is
the
what
new,
you're saying.
The new uploads is the Monument Mythos
Yep.
modern day. We're in a
Yep.
whole new
you
universe.
you
now.
see the Trump video with the bloody eyes. There's,
We're in
there's
the
some
Trump
thumbnails.
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
in the.
We're not
We're not going over
baby.
some shit right now.
Well,
but,
real quick, I will say this.
okay.
This is the end of the NIXONVERSE.
Yes.
We've given you the end of the
Part
NIXONVERSE.
one,
However,
clearly.
there is a teaser for NIXONVERSE 2, which
Yep.
we don't have anything from. However, if you listened last 2 weeks ago, there is now a new episode for Monument Mythos,
There's a
which
bunch of new
assuming
stuff.
assumedly is season 4.
Well, I haven't watched
And,
that.
yeah.
That ship stuff. What is it called? The. What's the other thing that's out there? Haven't you watched that yet?
It's not a part of it though.
You say that, but people were also like, "Oh, the NIXONVERSE is a side thing, or Corner Folk are just a side thing." It could be connected.
Well, we
because
don't
they
we don't know enough
Holy shit!
yet.
The order that you said that in, like, you are.
No one
You
knows
could not
what's
be
connected
more
and what's not.
Exactly.
Exactly. We don't know what's connected and what's not.
Well,
Yeah, if we'll
He
go
came up with
over
the-
it
He
if
came
it's
up with the
necessary.
Corner Folk like fucking years before the Monument Mythos, and he
Oh,
attached
yeah.
it in.
and
there we are.
apparently they're the reason that this offshoot universe exists. I hope they slam these two universes together. at some
Hello,
point.
he uploaded the fucking House in the Sea
Yeah,
like way
you're
way
right.
before,
Yeah, you're right.
and
you're
then
right.
took it down.
You're right.
Like that episode
That's
is
what I said.
actually
House
like
of the Seas
way
from season
before.
1.
Thank you. Okay, I'm
Was supposed
sorry,
to
I
be,
didn't hear
yeah.
you say that.
There was a reference to it, but
We covered it. We covered it. Yeah.
Yep, but it just wasn't 40 fucking minutes long.
Right.
Yeah. So basically,
Holy shit, guys!
the NIXONVERSE. I will say this: the NIXONVERSE actually wasn't really my favorite thing
No.
that
Oh,
I
loved
watched.
it personally. I think this
it
is one
was-
of my favorites.
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. Like
I
I'm
like
not
season
I'm not
3 better.
poo-pooing on it at all. I think the Monument Mythos is
Yeah.
a much crazier, well
I'm too
put
invested
together
in that.
thing. I'm not saying NIXONVERSE wasn't well put together because honestly we just talked about it and I just like kind of had my own personal like fucking like Charlie Day thing that happened. But like
Carol.
the NIXONVERSE, I think the Monument Mythos is better than the NIXONVERSE, and like I'm honestly just really excited to see what he does with Monument Mythos 4 and NIXONVERSE 2.
Well, he's clearly tying the two together
Mhm.
with the okay.
And-
I understand the corner folk are not an official connection. I get that. I 100% that's
No,
all
they are.
inference at
In
this
season
point.
3, they mentioned the Corner Folk by name. They are an official
but not.
connection.
But they don't. What I'm saying is they do not say that Richard Nixon is a corner folk.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm
Yeah.
alluding to. They they heavily imply towards that.
Mhm.
If you've been paying attention, but they don't, like, if you haven't been paying attention, you could just skim right the fuck over it. I think Corner Folk are coming back. I think they're going to make a giant appearance, and I think is going to be what ties the NIXONVERSE and NIXONVERSE 2 to the Deanverse, the Montyverse. I just hope it stays away from the DLUTIverse.
Now, real quick, take the shot with me.
Okay. Mike, you got a shot?
I have a little bit of my
You
drink
just
left.
poured whiskey all over my dick.
I was a super fan of the NIXONVERSE
Cheers.
because it combined my favorite trope ever, which is World War II and superheroes. Fucking love that shit.
Yep. So you
Ooh.
love The Watchmen, yeah?
Ooh, actually,
Well, Watchmen is
Mike,
really World
did
War
you
II.
look
That's more
into-
80s.
did you look into this? The whole DC thing?
What DC thing?
The whole DC Comics trope
yeah.
that's happening here?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, all right, real quick.
Holy
I'm gonna
shit.
go into this just a little bit because I didn't really want to deep dive this because it's a lot.
We weren't planning on giving Mike a raging hard on
I really thought you would have picked up on this. So the last son
Superman.
is Batman.
Yep.
Oh,
Nope.
No.
Batman.
Batman. The D-Day night is Superman.
Yep.
And then Ed Dwight's whole storyline is the fucking Flashpoint paradox.
oh,
Think about it.
yeah.
Yeah, literally. I'm gonna send you a
why
link.
would the
I'm gonna
last?
send you a link,
Why would the last night
and
be
you're
Batman?
gonna watch the end of this video that I send you, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my god!"
Why would the last night be
What the f-
Batman though?
That's the whole thing. No, D-Day night
D-Day
is
night.
Superman
Okay.
Is Superman.
because he's the one flying around.
Last son of Alcatraz is Batman.
Batman.
But he's also flying around.
No, he's not. The D-Day night's the one flying around.
Yep.
The last son of Alcatraz? I covered him. He's
Also,
in War-
Last
he's in
Son of
World-
Alcatraz isn't
Also, if
flying
we're going
around.
to get into this, they're all the fucking same person at
They,
some point.
they truly are.
The only difference is time.
I'll just send you the video because I don't want to get on this. This is a whole
There's a whole other
another
thing.
30 minutes of talking that we
True.
don't need to
Works
do
for me.
because we're
I
at
do
we
love
just
a good
don't
2
have-
hours.
I do like a good comic crossover. So gimme. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll like it. You'll like it.
Um,
It's kind of crazy because when they were talking about it, I was like, holy shit, this is
I do
the
love
same
that.
story.
The Ed Dwight Flashpoint thing does make sense, so that's cool. I do like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I
Dude, this
can't- I can't get
fucking
into it.
universe is so goddamn cool. This is one of my favorite
Also,
things.
yeah, no,
and honestly, this has
the-
taught me to not like analog horror.
Why wouldn't he be? Why
This,
wouldn't the last?
what I say is this podcast has taught me that. This fucking analog horror, holy shit,
Why wouldn't
is
the
so
last
good.
son of Alcatraz be Superman? He's the last son of Krypton. That's literally his whole thing.
because the D-Day night is the one that's flying around like a bird or a
So
plane.
is the
and has
last
the
son.
fucking,
I did that. They covered him.
No.
A bird's a plane, and it literally ends the last son of Alcatraz. They literally cover Superman.
Technically, they all
reference
fly.
Superman.
I guess they do.
They say faster than faster than a locomotive, faster than a
Well,
speeding
think
bullet.
about this.
They do all
they
that.
can't-
He
they
references
can't-
Superman.
Yeah, and then so do they do the same thing with the D-Day night though, because he has his own fucking fortress on Alaska.
Yeah, that's true. They do. Yeah,
Literally, like
They it's not quite. It's
all
Fortress
reference
Solitude,
material. Yeah,
bit,
it's all
but, like,
flying,
It's just
super
references,
strength,
right.
like yeah. I think
Diluti.com.
that what they were trying to do there is literally explain the Superman mythos within our timeline with a reference from an alternate timeline of something that actually existed.
Well, if you remember, they had DC Comics
Yep.
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
Monument Mythos. So yeah.
Well,
That's
DC
why I say
Comics is that person is a real person that does work with Alex
Kasanas.
Oh, did you ever figure out the Alice Avenue
Oh yeah.
reference, Mike?
I mean, you talked about it.
What do you think it means?
Oh,
Think of the name Alice Avenue.
It's a
Whose name also could that be in reference to?
Clark
if we're talking
Kent
Superman. Exactly. Go on.
and
Keep going, bud.
and
You're
Bruce
right there.
Wayne,
Nope.
No.
Superman,
Think of the lady. It's a lady.
Wonder
There's an
Woman,
L.
Nope.
No.
Lois Lane,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheena
Lois Lane.
Easton,
Alice Avenue.
Lois Lane, Alice Avenue.
Mm.
Their street like
It literally is.
Three
It's
suffixes.
it's a synonym.
So you
Like,
agree that the D-Day
Knight
last
is
son of-
Superman.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
The
Yeah,
last son of Alcatraz, because that's when I brought it up.
No.
The
No,
Alice
no, no.
Avenue.
The last son of Alcatraz is the Crescent King.
Last
Yep.
son of Alcatraz is Superman. I brought that up. That's when you
No,
you
the
choose-
D-Day Knight is the
They're all
one
the
who's
same
Superman.
person.
Who be flying around? Who be flying
Guys, if you
around?
go to patreon.com/DelutiPod,
fucking
you can find all sorts of tiers.
D-Day
with
place,
a bunch of
fucking
content.
Omaha Beach.
go
Omaha
to
Steaks.
That was the last son. too.
YouTube.com/@DelutiPod.
It was the D-Day Night.
Fourth
Dog,
wall.
watch
You
the
can check
last
out our
son
new
of
stuff.
Alcatraz. Last son of
I've
Krypton.
never
If you do
heard
that,
of that
you get
name
some discounts
before.
on merch. Please support us on Buy Me a Coffee, but let's be real, it's just gonna be booze.
I hate you.
I don't know. Either way, we thank you guys so much for listening. This debate will never be over
No.
because we're going to continue fucking having it.
No,
Because I think we all have good points.
Diluti.com.
We love this series.
It's
and
very
we
fun.
love
It's so
everything
good.
about
Alex
it.
Casanas, keep doing your shit. You also fucked us by saying, hey, I'm not doing it anymore. And then go, oh, wait, I've got 44 hours of content. Here you go.
Yeah.
So keep doing your
It's-
shit,
it's-
man. You
it's
are killing it.
Very fun. Diluti.com. Patreon.com.
Plus, you make us fight about it.
Yeah, patreon.com/Diluti.
It's great.
Subscribe to the Patreon, become a member on the website. Either way, you get all of the added benefits, except if you're on the website, you get 10% off the merch. Buymeacoffee.com/DulutiPod, but it's going to be a
Let's be
booze.
real.
You can leave us an email at dulutipod@gmail.com. We respond to those emails. You can
Text us, call us, leave a voicemail.
Hometown Horrors is coming up. Hometown Horrors is coming up next month.
Right,
Oh,
October's
shit.
coming
Oh
up.
my god,
So-
October's.
Holy shit, Mike,
yeah,
thank
get
you.
them in now.
Send
shit, Mike,
Send
thank
us an email, dilutipod@gmail.com. Send us an email, subject line, hometown horrors - your name. And then
Let's fucking get some. I want to hear more about
And
the
by your name, we
Wendigos.
mean whatever you're
Yes.
comfortable with us saying on
yes,
air.
I'm
I
gonna,
want to hear more about deer people that jump into trees.
Well,
I
hang
want to
on.
hear more about the crazy fucking shit in your hometowns.
Let me emphasize
Please,
this again.
people.
Let me emphasize
Go
this
ahead, go
again
ahead.
real quick. Do not send us a text or a voicemail
Nope.
with your hometown horror
Nope.
because we get so many of those,
Email.
we lose track of them. Send us an email again, subject line, hometown horror - your name.
Hometown Horror 3.
No, just hometown horror.
Because
Doesn't
it'll
really
show,
matter.
it'll show us a date, doesn't matter.
I'll read the
Just
date.
hometown
Yeah, I-
horror - your name. That way we can find it very easily. We want to read it off on the show. And if you are comfortable reading it off on the show, we would love that too. But in order for us to find your horror stories, email us at dilutipod@gmail.com, hometown horrors - your name as the subject, and then put whatever you want in the subject line. Or in the
It has
the
to be
other line.
through email.
But it has
Yeah.
to be
To
through email.
reiterate.
Yeah. Has to be through
Email only, no voicemails.
We will not
No
be looking at
text.
Discord.
Yes, it
we will
is-
not be looking
Just
at
send
Patreon.
us a fucking email.
It is
We will
the
not be
only-
looking anywhere.
That is the only good way for
Email.
us to find everything and keep everything in one
If you
area.
send
Yeah.
us an email,
Last
your
year,
fucking
l-
bullshit
yeah,
It's
text to
searchable.
speech
It's searchable.
does not work
it's searchable.
very
yeah.
well.
Well,
and also it's searchable,
and
so we
last
can
year-
find keywords.
yeah, and last year they were all over the place. So we missed some because some people put them in the voicemail, some people put them in the text, some people left us a comment on like Instagram, others left us on the Gmail. Just send them through the email, dilutipod@gmail.com, subject line, hometown horrors - your name. If you're
Yep.
new to this, essentially what hometown horrors is we get a collection of what we think is like the scariest personal.
we listen to you guys.
Yeah, it's
Tell us what your fucking horrors are. Tell her your scary stories,
It's-
your real scary stories.
collection
we will talk
of-
about them.
Yeah, a collection of real scary stories, and
We learned about Mike's fucking ghost experience in the movie theater.
Yeah.
We learned about a Wendigo that lives near one of our patrons. We learned about what was Barb's story about the fucking ghost in where was that?
I don't remember.
Oh, in the car in the woods. When they got like the ghost was like knocking on her car and shit like that. Like we've heard some creepy ass shit.
Either way,
Send
Who
us
the
your
fuck
stuff.
is Barb?
Barp.
Either way,
Barb. Who's Barb?
either way, we would love to read off your story in the.
I
in
hope
that
Barb
episode.
doesn't listen to this.
Barb.
Oh, she doesn't for sure.
Yeah, we would love to read off your story in the episode, and if you are comfortable coming on the show and reading it off yourself, we would love that. But we need to use.
Please.
I forgot
the-
how awesome October is
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Dude,
We need
October's
to-
the best fucking month of the year for Diluti.
We need to use the email to get you on. like it. That is the key. Like again, send us.
And we'll use your phone number to get you off.
Yes, but again, send us the email. That
86.
send us an email. Hometown Horrors dash
Yes.
your name.
Email
We
your
will
stories.
not
We will read
off
those.
any others unless it's in the email, and we will not
No
ask
texts.
you to come on unless it's in the email.
We've driven
Now,
this home enough,
speaking
right?
of texts, you can send us a text from our Google phone number, or you can send us a voicemail. If you send us a voicemail, we will play it at the end of every episode. Our Google phone number is 630-909-9366. You can also reach us at all of our socials at either DLUTIPod or Don't Look Under the Internet. You can find me on my Twitter at Gruntman993 or Casual Phantom. I just wanted to name drop that one.
Holy shit, that is you?
Yeah, Casual Phantom.
Okay,
Or you
that
can
makes
find
more
me
sense.
on my Instagram. I think it's Legs Flamingo. I don't remember what I've been my
No,
Instagram.
yep, that's it. That's 100% it.
Anyway, what do you guys have to say to the
What?
people, the beautiful people?
Legs Flamingo, I get it, man. I get
Gruntman.jpg.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
get
is.
it.
Gruntman.
My fucking Xbox tags is still either culpable wheat or Saturn's piss or some shit like that.
630-909-9366. That's the Google phone number.
Text it, call us, shit into it. I don't
Leave us
give
a review on Spotify and iTunes. Please and thank
Did
you.
you guys know that Lee Harvey Oswald plotted to assassinate Nixon?
630-909-9366.
Did you know it?
All right, I'm done.
Lee Harvey Oswald was supposed to assassinate Nixon. This is not going well. Okay. Nixon was
Keep
a Quaker.
talking. Try to talk.
Nixon could play 5 musical
Bye, everybody.
instruments.
Goodbye. These two don't get an outro.
Have a good night,
because
everybody.
they
We're just going to
suck
keep.
ass.
We love you. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
us.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
We've done it.
We have done
We've done it, boys.
We did it.
Bye.
You guys.
How about a drawing, Mel? Can you get us a drawing?
Welcome back to Inner Night. We're excited to have you back for another night of spiritual connection and self-discovery. Let's begin by repeating after me. My thoughts shape my reality. We are not welcome among the stars, so here we shall stay. The Lord of the second moon guides us. Now we have a message in a bottle from a fellow member of Inner Night. Matt says, I think Doug would give a good hate fuck. We're not sure what that means, but we appreciate the enthusiasm. Your lucky numbers for this week are 116, 101, 108, 108, 32, 116, 104, 101, 32, 111, 116, 104, 101, 114, 115. For this week, we recommend spending time in solitude, reflecting on your journey and connecting with your inner self. Solitude grants us clarity and insight into our true purpose. Remember to send a message of encouragement to another member. Together, we foster a community of growth and understanding. Good night.